what that is? Discipline. Selfish.
No joke. We're legitimate.
Fucking do this? Then do it. Do it 100%, because I'm trying to.
We recognize that we are limitless.
You gotta be a champion to become a champion, right? Winning is a habit because we create habits that lead to good execution and success.
Welcome back to the Coaches Show. Episode 94 is coming in hot because the 2025 NXL World Cup just wrapped. We've got the stories, surprises, and straight up chaos to break down. From the pro field to the WNXL to semi-pro, we're diving into every storyline you might have missed, and a few you definitely didn't. Buckle up. It's going to be a fun one. I'm Coach Mike Bianca with my friend and co-host, Coach Ryan Gray. And tonight, our guest, you know him, you love him, Master Blaster, is none other than the legend, Rich Telford. This show is fueled by Max. Get your deals done now for 2026. Contact Charles ASAP at Max Sportswear and have your team looking fresh next season. BKI, the best knowledge in paintball, the place where you can find all the drills, and even a few good coaches. And welcome to our newest sponsor, Tiki's Paintball Park. Wait, no, I mean Thunder Valley Paintball. Same great park, just a new brand. And by the way, they're kicking out some serious talent down there, it looks like, just by the results at this most recent World Cup. So let's get started here, man. Let's get this party started. Let's bring in Rich and let's hop into all of it.
Bam!
Bam! There he is.
Hi, guys. What's up, pal? Bam!
Bam! Bam!
Yeah, hey, really quick before we get started, I really wanted to really quickly just give a huge thank you to Chris Rangel and the staff at Veteran Militia for allowing me to participate in the Commanders Cup at World Cup. I got to coach the Marines and just had an absolute blast. If you didn't watch that, if you didn't watch that, shame on you. Sideline coaching, pure chaos, nothing. So we play a legit 15 and then 20-minute full match. It was just an incredible amount of fun. Really proud of my Marines for pulling it out and winning the event. We had a blast. One of the absolute highlights of the whole event for me. So thank you to Chris Rangel. Thank you to all who serve. And it was an honor, true honor to participate and be a part of that. So thank you.
And congratulations to the Marines and to you, Ryan. Way to be, man. Marines looked awesome in that final match.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. We were just flying around.
Yeah, you could tell. I hung out in the back of the pits for that one because I got there late. So,
yeah, we had a great time. I was just pulling plays right out of the Red Legion playbook. I was like, go here, shoot that way. You're going to kill one or two really fast. We had a good time. We had a great time. So, all right. Well, let's talk first about kind of the storylines going into World Cup, just to sort of go back and touch on some of the things we talked about in the pre-show. I thought Rich asked a great question about who was under and overperforming going into the event. We all shared a little bit of information. And then some of the teams that we talked about went into World Cup and absolutely proved us wrong. Right. Some went in and proved us right, but several went in and proved us wrong, right? You got to start right at the top, right? Tampa Bay Damage, we talked about, they've been underperforming. They come in and look amazing throughout the whole event.
They look perfect.
Yeah. When they won that bracket, at that point, my money went to them because I don't think they're stoppable. I think Damage is going to move on and win this event. They were just firing on all cylinders. They were playing, they're moving their pieces right. They were using Mouse and Keith really well.
I was just going to say, having Mouse and Keith on that line gives them a whole, it's like a power pack over there. No one's ever tired. Everyone's kind of feeding off each other, and they're going to be tough with this confidence going into the next season, especially if they don't lose any bodies.
My X factor for them was Jason. I really felt like when they brought Jason in, he just kind of put the whole deal together. right? Regardless of the package that was thrown out there, when Jason was a part of it, they just seemed to pull out those big critical moments when things would get weird. Yeah. It really seemed like Jason was the guy who really
the glue.
And I kind of made a comment after the last event, you know, that when we had SK on, I kind of made a comment about, you know, I noticed you were playing a lot of the new guys, and that was Jason. Yeah, Jason, in my opinion, was one of the guys that was really kind of missing from that mix.
Agreed.
I always feel like with Tampa Bay Damage, when Jason's in the game, things just operate better.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
and I know we threw out, you know, Keith and Mouse's names, but that whole roster was looking good. I mean, you really were. They were all performing. You could tell the energy in the pit, everything about them. They were focused. And I love how they kind of dangled the carrot a lot, right? Hey, we might sting you over here. Oh no, we went short. Oh, we might sting you over here. Oh no, we not. And it was a well-played chess match, and they got production out of everybody, and they just looked incredible.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. The counter.
Anytime you have like that good a roster, the challenge is like, who do you sit, right? Not who do you play, but like who can we afford to not have out there on the field, because we have so many talented players. And with the new coaching staff coming in, I think a great finish to a great season for those guys.
100%.
Yeah, kind of a great finish to a pretty mediocre season. Really.
Yeah, well, that makes the season great, right? When you win World Cup, you had a great season. No matter how poorly you did in the first four events, you win World Cup, and it was an amazing, probably best season of your life.
Yeah, good call.
Because you don't win World Cup that often, right? There's not 20 different teams out there that have won World Cup before, right? It's a small handful. It's a very special event. I always think that Damage has an advantage going in there in the sense that they live, 45 minutes down the street, but winning that tournament is probably harder than winning any other tournament. So it sure makes the season seem a lot sweeter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about Tampa Bay Damage next week. We'll have SK and Casey Harris on to break down the final match. We'll talk with a lot about Paintball Fit and a lot about Damage next week. Kind of that's the next thing in the storyline here is Paintball Fit. We kind of talked about how for real they are. Kind of right off the bat, Paintball Fit looked like Paintball Fit. Right.
Agreed.
Looked incredibly disciplined, shot really well off the break. We played them in our last match of the preliminary rounds. We shoot more players off the break in that game than any of their other games.
Yep.
And I'm on the tower with Coach Alexi, and I'm like looking at them, and I'm like, okay, great. And then I look back, and they have shot just as many of us. We're in great
I learned
shape.
a ton of respect for them at World Cup this year. And I've always had a lot of respect. Obviously, you have to have a lot of respect for any winning program. But in my opinion, in the past, they were pretty one or two dimensional, shoot on the break, make a good first gunfight, make a good decision, have pretty good team paintball. But I saw point after point where they lost the break. The other team had better positions, and through really good play and just really quick reading, like Mason just, boom, this is the situation. I'm going to go Drio side. I'm going to come down Drio side and win this point while the other guys are still contained on that snake side. And I didn't see that last season or the season before. So the fact that those guys are adding more layers, it means there's a lot of upside to that team.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No one works harder than that team.
Yeah. But I don't think they've topped out, right? Like a lot of teams are,
bingo.
A lot of the top teams are really close to, Damage for all the great players that they're not going to play much better than they played at World Cup. But I think for Fit, the ceiling is a little bit higher. I think they can go.
I agree. I think that's a great assessment, Rich. I think Paintball Fit still got a lot more in the gas tank, and I don't think we've seen their greatest form yet.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah, agreed. And they're just getting scarier.
Exactly.
Yeah. If they can stay together and they can keep pushing in the same direction, we know how hard it is to do what we do. And what's even harder is to do that consistently from season into season out, right? This would be their second huge season, right? So what we'd like to see is them continue to do that again next season, but it's not easier, right? It's harder than it was the last 2 years. And so they've got to be willing to, the whole program step up to the next level if they want to continue, being as successful as they have been. And I think we're all, rooting for them.
Right.
Yeah, agreed. I always say this, like when we talk about other teams who can help to elevate the game, it's good for everybody.
100%. Everybody, right?
It makes everybody better. Yeah.
And the more somebody else gets paid, the more you get paid, right? It's just it's the same thing. Like the more things are good for other people, the more good they are for you.
That's right. And Ryan, I think your comment was lost. You have to be better, right?
Yeah.
You have to start playing up, and you have to putting in a lot more work, because while you're not, they're just getting better, right? So your competition just keeps working while you're sleeping.
If you're standing still, everyone's leaving you.
That's right.
Yeah, great comment here from It's Clay. Yeah, for year 1 and 2, Fit is an absolute titan. I don't think it will end anytime soon either, and I love it. Agreed.
Yeah,
that on Fit then.
Yeah,
I think Joey makes an excellent point here as well. Damage had a harder path to the finals, which I think helped. I think that's a legitimate. I think that's a legitimate comment.
The harder the way it is to get there, the easier it is to win.
And that's why I said what I said at the beginning. When I saw them mop the floor with that bracket, my team included, you know, I was like, man, they look pretty darn near unstoppable, and they're firing on all cylinders. I would not be surprised if they win this event, and lo and behold, there it was.
And even early in the event, I felt like Damage, X Factor, and Uprising really looked the best. They looked the best, right? Day 1 and 2, those 3 teams really looked the best. And Uprising, you know, part of kind of that storyline going in, a team that just continues honestly to get better and better, right? Finishes the year in 8th place. Really, it's funny. I don't know if that's an overperformance for them or that's kind of right where they should be. Going into next season, they just keep getting better. Like on day 1, they looked like they really knew the layout. They understood the shifts. They countered incredibly well. Nate played fantastic. The Dorito side was strong. They have a young guy playing, Holland, maybe playing on the Dorito side. That he was lights out. Yeah, he was lights out. Dude played like, and just the timing of the moves that were made were like perfect. I'm literally like, they gotta have earpieces, right? It was like watching the old Russians play. Just the timing of the way things occurred. So, you know, kudos to Uprising. They really looked fantastic.
They're definitely the most improved team of the season, right?
Oh, 100%.
Like, yeah, they were always that team that was scary, like, because you didn't know if the shitty team or the good team was going to show up. But now the good team is showing up all the time. So now they're legitimately scary. If you get them in your bracket and you get them in your draw, you're like, oh, that's a tough win.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. And now it's like, it's hard to bet against them.
Yeah,
it's hard to bet against them. You know, Sunday they show some struggle, but through the preliminary rounds, they play incredibly well.
Yeah. Again, if they can keep those bodies together and keep the energy going in the same direction, next season looks even brighter for those guys. You know, they could be a top 4, top 2 team at some point.
Yeah, that machine is now oiled well, and it seems to be. They understand what is necessary now, and you can see they're all bought in.
Good.
When you have that kind of culture, man, watch out.
We need some winning teams over here on the West Coast. Get the paintball flowing again out here.
All right, so now I got to eat a giant, huge, overcooked helping of crow.
You should use both hands.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to for the amount of crow I'm about to eat.
Just really get in there.
So to all the leverage fans and leverage players, I was wrong. You do have a chance, and thank you for proving me wrong. Right. So I said on the pre-show, these guys don't have a chance, and they showed up to World Cup and absolutely proved me wrong.
Who does not mess around?
And to be clear, I'm incredibly grateful for that. You know, I've said it time and time again on this show. When the league is better, it's better for everyone.
Right.
When every team is good, it's better for everyone. So Chris Caputo played literally lights out. I don't think I've seen him play that well in a couple of years. Yeah, played incredibly well. Whole team showed up and played well, but Chris really took the team on his back a couple of matches and played incredibly well. So congratulations to you guys for getting those wins, making it onto the Sunday rounds. I think the future looks bright if you guys can continue to keep it together and stay strong. And thank you. This crow tastes terrible, right? But at the same time,
it's really low fat.
Actually, no, I think the crow tastes good, and I'll tell you why. Because that's exactly what we want to see, right? I'm glad we were both wrong about that, because again, it shows that the teams are putting in the work and getting where they need, and it's going to make everybody else have to be better. So thank you for proving us wrong. Way to be.
And again, and I'm a man, right? When I'm wrong, I admit it, right? And I'll give you your flowers and say thank you and great job. But flowers? I will give them flowers if that's what they need. But nice. You know, I was wrong, and thank you.
They don't strike me as flower type.
Classy, very classy of you, Ryan.
Trying, right? Trying to be a better man every day. It's hard sometimes.
That's a lofty goal. Jesus,
It's hard sometimes.
Hey, as long as you're trying, that's what counts.
So let's talk a little bit about the European teams.
We.
What's that?
Yeah.
So we can start with them if you want. So Tauntauns,
amazing,
really
season,
good,
man. Great season. If they had 2 more guys, if they just had 2 more good players that they could rotate in a few points, so that other guys didn't have to play 7, 8, 9 points in a row, then they would be a top contender.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
agreed. They're so close every time.
So close.
Every time.
Yeah.
You know, they beat us in overtime, then they go lose to Damage in overtime. That was the other thing that kind of made me feel like Damage is probably going to win this tournament, is because the Tauntauns were playing really, really well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were playing really well. So great season for them. There is kind of a question mark, which we'll talk about later around the Tauntauns. We'll get into that in a bit. Breakout Spa. So the team that wins Europe comes over. They do win a match in those preliminary rounds.
Right.
They beat Edmonton Impact. So,
and then they ran into the meat grinder that is X Factor.
Yeah. So Breakout Spa, you know, it took them a little bit to really kind of figure out who their guys were going to be. Right. They put Jonathan Clemente at the end of, like, kind of midway through the second match. And then I think they found, like, Jonathan's going to be the guy, right? Like, and he played incredibly well. He played so well as an anchor in the corner. They kind of always had a guy who was going to be alive at the end of points. Yeah, he played really well, but then, you know, X Factor is, again, they looked amazing.
Good.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. When I saw that they had drawn X Factor the next morning, I said, well, I think that one's, not to take anything away, but
different levels, right?
That's going to be tough.
It's just different levels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other thoughts on those guys?
No.
Okay.
I don't love the brackets at World Cup. I don't love the 24 teams. I don't like bringing teams in. I suppose you don't want to talk about that because you want to keep everything positive, but just throwing it out there, not a huge fan. Throwing that out there.
Chat, what say y'all?
I'm cool with it as long as they bring in 4 teams that can compete in the pro ranks.
That's kind of where I'm at, right? As long as they're competitive.
Yeah.
I think if they're competitive, they want to compete, they should come over and compete, not bump teams. Like I hate the whole buy round. I hate all that stuff. Just my personal opinion.
And we've done the South America
and the double points, all that stuff. I hate all that stuff.
Yeah, I think the South American team that upsets the natural, what should be the natural progression.
They should all play in a division, right? They should, all the winnings teams from all the different countries all over the world, other than USA, should all play in like a semi-pro / pro division, like 5 or 8 team division. You know, so they can come over and be rewarded for being so great in their countries, but not mess up the, you know, what we already do over here.
But they won't come. That's
that's
the reason they come.
I don't get me wrong though. I was in the pits with the Brazilian team, and first of all, great guys, just great guys. You know, smiles all around, and they came out there on some points, right? And they knew what they were up against, right? They were throwing the spaghetti at the refrigerator to see what would stick, and they actually scored more points this year than the Brazilian team did last year in all of World Cup. So, you know, that was one of their goals. I spoke to
as long as they had fun,
right? And it looks like they had a good time.
Good.
You know, so that I give them marks for that, because
for them it's great. If I was them, that's exactly, if I was all those teams, I would be like, 100%, let's do this.
Yeah.
Okay, Rich, you want to take the response to that, or you want me
What's
to?
The response?
No, like, great that they came and they had a good time, but it's professional paintball.
Yeah, that's
like that's like saying like the team that wins like the national championship in college, we're going to let them go play in the pro league in the NFL.
Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that they should have. What I'm saying is I was impressed with their attitude.
That's great.
Yeah. They should be having a great time. They should be having a great time. They're at World Cup.
But I do agree.
I'm sure they got some shopping done. And, you know,
but I do agree that that's just,
it was a great party for them.
There have all been rather disappointing, and I don't like the fact that every team in that bracket has almost a guaranteed win, because it does offset.
Yeah, again, everything about World Cup could be reevaluated, right?
Right.
A ton of stuff I don't like there.
All right, so let's just skip right over Papaletto because I don't want to get in trouble. So Lucky 15s, they come in really touted as the only team in Europe that doesn't have a US pro. I think expectations were really high for Lucky 15s. They come in and
they did good last year, right?
Yeah, and they played well last year.
Yeah,
they
I
really looked.
think that's
good.
what made people think they were going to play. This year would be a continuation of that. I think was what the expectations were.
Yeah, and they really did not play well.
No,
really did not play. Incredibly challenging bracket, right? But
tough situation for sure.
Yeah, I mean the only team they beat was ASG Aftermath, and they pretty well got handled by everybody else with the exception of the Ironmen, which was a pretty close match. But, I watched it. I don't really know that the scoreboard, it was as close as the score really says it was.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. All right. Joy Division.
Joy Division.
Joy.
Joy
played great.
Man, they can step up when it counts, right?
That's true. And that's exactly right. So when, scouting them, there wasn't anything spectacular. We felt confident going into that match. But then lo and behold, their guns are hot on the break. And that's what ended up winning the day for them. They and then of course, they end up beating us because they had the head-to-head, because it ended up being pretty much a 3, they had the head-to-head. So that's what it boiled down to. Had Aftershock, beat them, it wouldn't have been a concern, but we had to go out there and win, and we didn't. And but more power to Joy because they just got better as the week went. And then
the great thing about Joy, a great thing about breakout spot on those teams, they have nothing to lose, right?
Right.
Nothing to lose, right? Like no one's there to watch them win World Cup. Everyone's there to watch them play whoever's going to win World Cup, right? Like no offense, I love Joy to death. I love all those guys forever, but no pressure on them, right? So when they go out and have a good breakout, make a couple reads, make a couple good moves, win a few points, like their mood hasn't changed. They're happy the whole time. They lose a couple points, no big deal. They're still happy. They're doing great. Dynasty goes out, loses a couple points. It's like, oh man, hey guys, we're supposed to win this tournament. We're down to 3 points. So like you have to have a solid answer for that, coach.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Goran did a great job too, like finding his group. Same kind of struggles a little bit early on, like Breakout Spa had. Really, once Goran found like these are going to be my 6 guys that I'm kind of going to rotate. They looked like a completely different team. Like if you go back and watch Joy Division's first 2 matches versus their last 2 matches, they look completely different. Completely different. Mm-hmm. The tempo in which they played, the off the break setups were completely different. But you also can start to see some consistency in the roster, right? And who the guys are going to be, which I thought was a huge difference maker for them. Was like, these are our guys. They kept changing shooters, which I always think is like, don't do that, right? They kept changing shooters.
Keep it down.
Yeah, right. And it seemed like
constantly evolving, right? As a shooter, you're constantly evolving and adjusting and evolving, adjusting as the event goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you start to realize based on how the box setup's going to be, where that shot needs to be to get that guy.
How wide you can start.
Right? Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I thought Joy looked great. Yeah. And again, made Sunday rounds.
Yeah. Again, ran into the meat grinder in X Factor, I think, right?
Yeah.
But they did
better than they should have done, right? Did better than probably most people expected for them to do.
Yeah.
Can't ask for more than that going into World Cup.
Agreed. Right. And again, I think it's a little bit tough on those guys when it's very expensive to come over. They come over. I think they got there like on Saturday, played Sunday. Then they played a little bit with us on Monday.
Probably played a third or a quarter of the amount of points that the USA team played on the field. Right.
And that's what makes their evolution through the preliminaries even that much
better. Their first 2 matches were their practices. And they're like, okay, guys, we better have this shit figured out because we only got 2 more matches.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's it, right? Well, the Euro guys.
Yeah, that's it for the Euro guys.
Yeah, that's it for the Euros.
Euros.
All right. Anything else there we need to talk about?
Well, I think we got to talk about Dynasty, right? One of the stories heading into Dynasty was, would we rebound after our, piss poor performance in Texas? And, no. We underperformed, right? We have to recognize that just because we have dynasty on the front of our jerseys doesn't mean we don't have to execute, right? And that was one of the comments made by Arturo, I believe, and it was a brilliant comment. The guys know they need to be better, and that goes from the top down, right? We tried a different system this event, a read option offense approach. It didn't work out. So this is going to be a hard working off season, but I'm confident the Dragon's up for it. You don't get slapped like that and not want to put in the work and come back and go for it. So
question from the audience. Which programs have going into World Cup?
I'm sorry, you were breaking up.
You switched some kind of programs, like you did something differently going to World Cup?
Yeah, we tried a different system, right? Kind of a read option offense type of thing, and it didn't fully pan out. So
yeah, that's interesting doing that right before World Cup.
I felt like we were less decisive, and that falls on the coaching. So,
well, obviously Dynasty will be around next season, and I'm sure they'll have everything worked out. They're smart kids, smart guys.
That's absolutely right, no doubt.
Yeah. Where'd they end up overall for the season?
Ninth.
That's not bad, right?
Well,
top
I think
10
that's
still.
It's top 10 still, but that's not where that's not where this roster should have been.
Yeah. How many events did they win this season?
Say again?
How many events did they win this season? I'm
None.
Trying to get the score up.
0.
0 events? Okay. So yeah, 9th place isn't too bad. Right in there.
It's bad for Dynasty, right? So
it shows you how competitive this league is, right?
Agreed.
If a team like Dynasty can go out and get 9th and kind of struggle, I mean, you can't say they struggle, right? Would they get a second, a fourth?
Second, fourth, and sixth. Second, fourth, and sixth.
So they're right there the whole season long. So it's not like they had a bad season. Obviously, disappointing World Cup, but to see them in the 9th position is crazy. But if you look at their season, it wasn't a bad season. Like that's how tough and how competitive this team is, or the league is at this point.
I had set goals for the crew and missed them. So that's how it works.
I'm looking right now at the top 10. Like there's no soft teams in the top 10 anymore. There's no like 2 or 3 teams that snuck in there, right? The top 10 are locked down, and there's a couple solid teams in the bottom.
Right. So they'll be back.
So what are you guys gonna change anything up going into next season?
It's a good question. Got to have those conversations, right? So
yeah, no, I just asked you. I thought we were having the conversation.
Well, I haven't decompressed yet. I've been at work since
Too soon. Sorry. Just longtime fan.
Love it.
All right, who's the next team we're talking about?
Well, we got to talk about the team that was relegated.
NRG.
That's correct.
I think they're gonna merge with NYX. I called it at the beginning of the season when I saw that those 2 teams were at the bottom. Allen and Harris have always gotten along really well. Allen's kids are really into paintball, but it's not enough for them to be into it for them to get kind of a win. They need some kind of structure. They need some kind of help, and maybe Harris can give that to them. Maybe the 2 programs can come together.
Maybe it's the other way around, right? Maybe
100%.
Maybe Energy comes in there and gives NYX the structure that they need, right? So who knows?
Obviously, you don't know Harris as well as Ryan and I know Harris, but yeah, 100%.
Probably true, but it's one of those things, right? We talk about culture here all the time, and maybe that injection is exactly what is necessary. But I'm pretty sure once Energy lost those first 2 matches, it's pretty much done.
Honestly, Allen's a really nice guy, and
Allen's great.
Austin's good at paintball, and they got some good guys on that team. But I think that team probably had the hardest season that any team has ever had. Yeah. Like, how many overtime matches did they lose? Like,
I think it was 7 or 8. Seven in a row.
The fact that they didn't just go out there, take their swords out, and just is mind-boggling. Like, I have a ton of respect for them, because that's just, how do you do that, right? It's just heartbreaking after heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak. So I really feel for those guys, and I hope that they turn around, because nobody just have a season like that.
Yeah. So
yeah, MRG ML6LW, crazy screen name, but we're going to talk about that.
We'll get to that
toward the end of the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love Allen. I hope to gosh that is what happens. And I do think that it would be NRG bringing structure to NYX. NYX prepped with us, and they do seem to have some some challenges with structure and process, and the reality is they need a coach, right? If I'm just being completely flat out honest, they need a coach that Harris will also listen to and allow that coach to coach, right? They need a coach. They need somebody who can say,
coach. Harris could just be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to coach for a season. I'll get you guys to the top 3 or top 4, and then I'll come back and play it. You know,
that's a terrible idea.
I think it'd be super entertaining, but yeah, okay, maybe you're right.
I agree. It might be entertaining. I don't think that's a good plan. But they need a coach, right? And I still think Harris is a really good player.
They have a coach. They've got Charlie. I think he's
Charlie doesn't really coach though. Like he is really good with like showing them, hey, tactical stuff. Here's kind of what happened, right? But not like, hey, now here's new space we can attack. Here's what we can do next. Like we can take advantage of this deficiency. Gotcha. None of those. I stood over next to their pit, if you will, at practice and just listen to kind of the conversations that were happening over there. And they need a coach. They need a coach. I think if NYX had a pretty good coach,
they
could probably be a mid-tier team. They could be a top 4 of top of tier 4, bottom right? tier 3 team. Yeah. Do what?
8 through 12, somewhere right in there.
Yeah, right. If there was only a coach for NYX that they have history with that has brought great success.
That coach
I couldn't help myself. I saw that Christian of In the Pits Paintball. I was like, that's going up on the screen.
I love Bobo to death. Bobo has a lot of money, but Bobo couldn't even afford that.
Yeah.
You know who I think would be great for them is Corey Field.
Corey would be great. I think the experience, the drill would really help
that program.
Yeah, like when I start thinking about like mix of personalities and somebody who can really come in,
command,
who has the right, and who has the right demeanor to command respect, right?
Because he's a player all over the East Coast all the time. But that's a great idea.
But I think Corey would be really good for that.
Oh, for sure. Corey would have any team, but especially a team like that needs the discipline, needs the drills, needs the kind of fundamental work, right? Like they have really good individual players. As we know, I tease Harris a lot, but I have a ton of respect for him as an individual player. Like he's really, really good, but they really need work on the team, right? The team aspect and the team concept, and someone like Corey could definitely bring that to them.
Yeah, and if you look at the last years of Thunder, they were one of the most disciplined paintball teams in the league.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, they were consistently making Sundays. So I think they made a couple of top 4s in that last season.
And that was because they were really disciplined and they did a lot of drills and a lot of hard work. They didn't just go out and play paintball and have fun, screw off.
Right.
Yeah. Agreed.
And the chats are on fire tonight. So
if you get a chance, why can't I see any of the chats?
So
this is
I don't know. You must be on an iPad.
The comment
link just that I don't have the chat.
On your right hand side.
You should have it. It's right there on your
go up
screen.
It says comments up in the right hand side. Click on it and it'll open it up.
Yeah.
Okay. I love Rich Telford. Love Coach Gray and Bianca too. Thanks, Nick.
Hey, I love you too. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I love hanging out with Nick at the events. He's funny. He'll sometimes when Alexi and I are standing up on the tower, he'll turn around when somebody does something stupid, and he was like, "They weren't supposed to do that." And I was like, "No, no."
Nick and I had a moment at this event too. I did an impression for him. So
I'm so glad he's still around. Like I was afraid when he was no longer playing that he would come to less events. And I'm so glad he's still there.
Yeah.
Dan says hi from Barcelona.
Yeah, Dick. Thank you, Cristione. Nick says 6th overall for Thunders last season. Yeah, it's a great finish.
It is.
Great finish.
That's a great finish. Yeah. So Harris,
who's
call
next?
Up Corey Field. We'll make it happen.
All right. So we've covered fit, and we haven't talked about Legion. We haven't talked about Impact.
Let's talk about Legion.
We can talk about Legion. So, I mean, the simple thing with
overperformed at Cup.
Absolutely underperformed. I don't think there's any question of that.
You broke a lot of hearts, bro. You broke a lot of hearts.
I don't think there's any question that we underperformed. Really struggled with some of the tempo changes once like the setup became defined, which was Snake 2 on the cross, Dorito 1 on the cross, and then kind of a mix of either snake corner, snake can, heads up, back center, Dorito way. Once the setup kind of became like this is what it's going to be, if there was any kind of if there was a delay in the middle movement, You just get chopped up by that guy.
Yeah,
and if you didn't read it correctly, you're in trouble, right?
Did you win more breakouts or lose more breakouts?
We won more breakouts.
Right. Okay. So the middle and the end part, you're struggling.
Just the middle, to be honest. Just the middle. Yeah, okay. Just the middle. Like you can't throw away 2-3 bodies in the mid game. You know, Justin wins a 1-on-3, right? In that semifinal or quarterfinal match. Like we can't expect guys to do that all the time.
No,
right?
That's
like yeah, and I want to be clear. Justin played out of his mind well at the event. He was so good, clutch.
Yeah. He's been playing so good for you guys for like 2 seasons. You guys bonusing him? Is that the way that works? You guys get big
I would argue he's been playing well for several seasons, but 2
seasons for sure. That he's the last 2 years he's been with us. He, in my opinion, Justin's played his best paintball of his career.
I agree. When he came back, it kind of skipped up to a higher level.
Yeah, just a little bit better than he played when he was with Impact. I think like he's playing here.
Has a lot of input with Sergey and with Alexi too on getting plays and stuff and supporting everybody around him. So it looks like he's a big part of the team.
I think he's one of the best players in the league today. I think he's.
Oh, Mike, does that mean Dynasty's picking him up? Is that what that means, Mike?
I doubt
you guys are going to outbid him. Is that what's going on?
They certainly can't afford him.
I agree.
They certainly cannot afford him. But and Pasha, Karslev played absolutely fantastic as well on the Rito side. Very like good. Changed his tempo really well going into Sunday, understood kind of that cross and how important it was going to be in the beginning part of the game, and then kind of let loose instead of putting himself way up really early and getting into all the bounce shots like we did with Paintball Fit. He did a great job like changing his tempo. And in my opinion, this season, Karslev has developed more this season than he has any other season that I've been watching him on the mental game, right? Really understanding when it's time for him to,
for sure.
When it's time.
He's always been a weapon, but now he doesn't die in those big points where you need him to stay alive.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So those 2 guys were really outstanding, and then the other guys like
played good. Who played bad?
Kirill really had a bad event.
But Kirill would be the first to tell you that too, though.
Yeah, he struggled.
You can't play good all the time, man. Nobody plays good all the time.
Totally.
Ryan, you and I had talked before Cup about how important Kirill was, how important the team Kirill playing good is.
He's the anchor guy, right?
He's
the dude that kind of sets up a lot of the emotion on the field as little emotion as these guys show. When Kirill is really playing pesky, right? When he's a pest up the middle.
When he can be offensive for you guys win. When he can go up and be proactive and start gunfights and catch people making moves and being proactive, you guys win. When he doesn't, and just like we talked about before Cup, the question is who else is going to step up and kind of take that role on. And apparently at this event, nobody was able to do that.
Yeah. So, we had problems just like everybody else getting Sasha Malloy out on the snake side. Everybody had that problem. We're losing snake 1, but we're also shooting their snake 1 pretty much every point. So it was a real challenge with tempo, right? It was really understanding how far you can go when based on where the setup is, right? And so we really struggled with it. And it was disappointing. Now against Paintball Fit, like we did test a few things, but the reality is they beat us. Right.
Yeah.
Like we had 2 or 3 tests. All the other points, they just beat the shit out of us.
Yeah.
They just beat us. Right. Yeah. But pretty much all the other ones, we had some kind of in the overtime point with Impact, there was a misread there that wasn't good for us, and that's what I don't want to get too deep into it, but like probably should have won that match before we even got into overtime, to be honest, which is fine. But the Tauntaun one was real bad, with 37 seconds. We're killed to, it was bad, right? We're killed to 37 seconds left. Our setup is perfect to go win that game. And it didn't happen, right? They completely forget about the guy in back center. Yeah. All we need is one guy to run through, trade with the snake guy, and that point's over. Point's over, right? And we never have to go to overtime. And it was, but it was seemed like, again, it was that tempo thing of like,
In those situations, though, you have to have the right guys on the field that have the experience to make those calls, right? Like you have to have the guys that have been there before, can look at the clock, understand the situation, and not are learning how to do it at the event, but have done it many, many, many times before. And now
here's the problem with the clock. The tower was blocking the clock from Kirill and from Jameson. That neither one of them could see the clock because of the tower.
Yeah.
Neither one of them. And the clock that's on the other side of the field, you can't trust because it's 13 to 15 seconds off all the time.
Yeah.
All
super
the time.
Consistent.
It's terrible, right? But the reality is, again, and I do want to mention this. I said it in the green room and I'll say it again. Jameson made a mistake in that point and the point before. Neither one of those are Jameson's fault. Those errors belong to the coaching staff.
That's right.
We did not appropriately prepare Jameson for those situations, and shame on us, right?
Well,
we expected to go out there on a Sunday in a critical point, in a critical match, and perform like the other guys, but we haven't provided him the tools to do so. Right.
And he hasn't done it before, right? So he doesn't have an experience of doing it, or he doesn't have a history of doing it. So you're not like, hey, that thing that you do
Can't
all
go
the
back
time,
and touch it.
just do that for us.
Can't go back and touch it, right? Yeah. So just kind of it was a calamity a little bit, right? Like some of it's funny now because it's
you guys kind of look flat a little bit too, but with Russians you can never tell.
We're pretty stoic.
Yeah,
right?
very stoic.
We're pretty stoic. So
very stoic.
There were some big moments there, but yeah, we underperformed for sure.
Sergey, it's next season.
Yeah, Sergey's he's going to be healthy. He's healthy now, really, but just not. There's no sense in bringing him to World Cup and then potentially re-injuring, and then we lose him again.
Yeah,
yeah. So Sergey will absolutely be back next year, which I'm so happy about. Right, gives us another big monster that can shoot well off the break over the top of the boxes, get up to the middle quickly. Because it's kind of like Kirill, when Sergey plays well, we play well off of him.
100%. And when those two are both playing well, then you guys are pretty unstoppable.
Yeah, so it's for World Cup for us was painful. Yeah. Right, another 5th place, right? With 4th, 3rd, 1st, so going in the right direction, and then 5th, right, to finish the year. It's not a
second overall for the season is pretty good as well.
I mean, nobody gives a shit about that, and you know it, right? Nobody gives a shit about that. Like if you get 5th place at World Cup, you're 5th. Right. Right. Like like as critical as I am of other teams, I'm way more critical of my own team.
Yeah.
That is
way more critical.
That is true.
Successful.
Been around this guy for 4 years. Very, very.
What about Team Impacto?
Yeah. Let's not skip X Factor though.
Well, you can't skip X Factor. Yeah, I was going to say.
Okay.
Because holy shit, X Factor looked good.
Yeah.
And was missing TJ Danner.
That was a point I had on my notes that I was going to bring up. Right. They didn't have that anchor that they usually have, and they still were looking crisp. So
yeah, I'm really, really happy that they had a good event, because they're another one of those teams that have been kind of hovering for a long time, and there's a lot of money that goes into that team, and they haven't won for a while, and it's like, man, I hope they don't take the Heat version and get out of here. So I'm really happy that they did so well at Cup, because a great group of guys, fun to watch play, great style. Just I like everything about that program.
Yeah, they looked outstanding.
Yeah, they did.
Outstanding.
And that's another thing we talked about earlier. When Billy Bernaccio plays well, X Factor plays well, right? And Billy Bernaccio was playing well.
It's going back. I want to pull up their scores really quick.
Yeah.
Yes. So in the preliminary rounds, 3 points were scored against X Factor.
Yep.
And
they scored 21.
Yeah.
So
get out of here.
Yeah. And then they go into the Ochos and they mercy rule Yoy. And then they went into the quarters and they mercy rule Breakout Spa. And it looked good, but then they ran into Fit. And Fit has had their number a little bit this season. So
but they knocked Fit out in Cincinnati.
Yeah, in Cincinnati. So that was payback. So
and didn't they knock Fit out in Texas?
I don't think so.
They did.
Okay. Someone check it. I can't pull it up.
For it.
I'll take your word.
I'm pretty sure they knocked Fit out in Texas.
Well, you're not looking for any trouble, Ryan.
Oh. So
yeah,
yes, they say yes. Thank you, Dark Fader 01.
So I think they're 2-2, right? Like
Okay.
as far as Sunday play, I think they're 2-2.
Okay. Makes sense. All right.
So X Factor again goes in like looking like they're going to win the tournament without TJ Danner. Billy looked great.
Yep.
I thought that Matt looked incredibly good.
His survivability, was outstanding.
And just
Matt
being
in critical points, his survivability was
being constantly on the gun and being constantly the guy to follow it up and to close the play out. Like it's the best I've seen him play in probably 2 seasons. He looked really good.
Casey Harris, coach of Fit, says we've gone back and forth all year long. There you go, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, and not to skip over that in that excellent performance, but I think we had a surprise because it came out of the same bracket, and that's the Ironmen. The Ironmen made a Sunday, looked like they had things together a little bit in that. So to come out of that, and they only lost, I believe their only loss was to X Factor in the prelims.
I thought they were 2-2. Yeah.
No,
they were 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Oh, that's right. Because if they didn't win that last one, Arsenal goes in.
Right.
That's
absolutely correct.
No, they beat Arsenal head to head. They would have gone in no matter what.
That's right. They did beat Arsenal.
Yeah.
It was their first match. Yeah. Yeah. That was a nail biter, 3-2. Good catch. But yeah, Ironman, showed a different gear this event.
Finished 12th for the season.
Yeah.
You skipped way down the list.
I didn't bring up the Ironman.
No, that guy.
No, I did, but I just figured we're talking about X Factor and they're in the same bracket.
Yeah.
So,
it's a
Impact.
Back to Impact.
Man, they sure look good in the prelims.
I think you're being facetious.
No,
they look good.
They did look good in the prelims.
Yeah, they looked amazing. I mean, they had perfect.
If you're going by, yes, I agree. But they were
like all encompassing, right? So as a fan, I don't get the same perspective as you get, but a lot of what I get is when I can see in the pit, right?
Right.
And they in the pit, they were focused the whole time. Their energy was good the whole time. They looked super dialed in.
Yeah, I was shocked by the loss to Breakout Spa.
Yeah, I don't.
The way
everybody was shocked. I think Breakout
looked good. They looked great in the fit match. They looked stellar in the Legion match. And then I was just kind of shocked by that.
There was a lot of testing going on.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they were experimenting with some things.
There was a lot of testing going on.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah,
good point.
Based on the data that I kept, there was a lot of testing going on.
I had picked them heading into this. I had picked Impact to actually win the seed because having practiced against them, they were getting production out of pretty much everybody, and they were looking sharp. They were looking crisp. They were looking confident. They were having fun. And so I just thought,
who's their guy?
Be a tough match.
Who's their guy? Like we said, Billy's the guy for X Factor. On Impact, who's the guy? That guy's playing good.
Yeah, you got to give it to Tyler and Rainey. I really do.
It's Tyler and Rainey.
Yeah.
And I think they kind of pass the baton back and forth. Like Tyler will go out and have a huge point, then Rainey goes out and has a huge point, then Tyler goes out and has a huge point. They literally kind of pass it back and forth. Don't get me wrong. Like they're attackers, Brandon, JC, they're great. They'll go up, create a little chaos, but those guys coming up behind them, cleaning it up, it's Tyler and Rainey.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. The craftiness and the sneakiness and the closing games with those two.
Yeah, and the biggest and the hardest skill in paintball is the read and react in low numbers, right? Yeah. And there's nobody better than those two guys in a 2-on-2 figuring out, those two guys are looking that way. I'm going to go this way, giddy up, get my two guys, win this point for us. And it's a really enjoyable to watch those guys.
Yeah, their processing speed's outstanding.
Yeah, Rainey may be the best in the world at that.
Dude, so good. So good.
Like his creativity on the fly in those situations is unbelievable.
Creativity. That's a great word for it too, right?
And it's unreal.
Yeah, there's only a handful of people. Like Malloy is the same way, but defensively, where Rainey is kind of the same way offensively, right? Like their computers just kind of compute differently. Rainey's constantly applying pressure, where Malloy's constantly setting traps, but they're both constantly just solving problems.
Yeah.
Fun to watch, man.
Well, we already talked about Tampa Bay Damage, and we're going to spend all of our next show talking about Tampa Bay Damage and Paintball Fit, so we can skip them. Tauntaun FSU, I think we've covered that. Yeah,
covered them.
And by the way,
Marky Franz, what do you guys think he's doing next season?
I don't know. So Tauntaun FSU, I kind of mentioned this, and we'll talk about it again at the end. But big question mark there, right?
Yeah. Do they stick around? Do they have the money? Do they merge with somebody else?
Yeah, they lose their funding, right? So there's a big question mark. And Marky's a great player. He's really developed into a great player. Not
he's
good.
Solid. He's solid.
He's great, right? Like not top 10 like GOAT status. But
should he be getting paid?
Maybe.
Okay.
Depends on the team, right? He's not going to get paid on our team, but maybe
I'm not
somebody needs him bad enough.
Just asking because that's kind of the threshold, right? When you get to that point where people start paying you to play paintball, then you're pretty good.
I mean, if Arsenal, Shock, Infamous, if they need a guy that can do what he can do, then yeah, they should pay him.
Yeah.
Now, is it cost extra to get Mark Sr. with the package, or is that all included?
No, I think
Mark Senior's going to be there no matter what.
I just trying to figure it out.
That would be a weird place.
He's going to be there. He's going to be there no matter what. If his son's playing, he's going to be there.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
He'll be running paint if he has to. He'll be feeling positive. If his son's there,
I do think for the most part this season, he's been. It seems like he's kind of stayed out of the way and let the staff do what the staff does. Right, which is great. It's great.
It's they had a successful season, right? And Mark is playing really good. So whatever they're doing, it's working.
If you don't think it's funny when we talk about Tauntauns, and SK said this last week, and he said it, I think, a couple of other times, and I totally agree with this sentiment. They are the largest disruptor of professional paintball we have ever had.
Yes.
I mean, they've come in and completely destroyed the status quo of the top. Them and Paintball Fit. And again, I don't think Paintball Fit after winning World Cup last year is a shock, right? Everybody's like, yeah, they're really, really good. They come in, win the first two events this year. Now there's no question.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? But with Tauntauns, they come in, they have a terrible first event,
which we expected.
And then second, 9, 4. Right, yeah, the 9 was more of a shock than the 4s and the 2 at that point. So
they're uprising, right? They're the team that if you're a top 4 team, you don't want to draw uprising and you don't want to draw Tauntauns.
Yeah, you don't know which one you're going to get,
right?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. So Houston Heat's next.
RIP.
Yeah, right. That's the rumor.
That's the rumor. It's a question mark.
RIP. Yeah. RIP.
We're kind of we don't, we try to stay away from the rumor mill here, but the rumor's pretty loud at this point. That potentially Houston Heat's going away. They certainly had an underperforming season for that roster. We kind of
haven't won a tournament in 4 years.
Yeah, and I don't know. Have they ever placed? Have they ever been as low as 7th?
I'm not the one to ask about that, but probably not. I mean, that team was built to win tournaments, so the fact that they went 4 years without winning a tournament is pretty shocking. Without them just kind of tearing everything down and rebuilding again, it's possible that they were just riding out in the sunset together and just having one last enjoyable season.
I felt like I was shocked by that because I feel like they were coming together. They had some good finishes this season. They had a 3rd. I think they had a 5th.
8th, 3rd, 5th, 13th, and 11th.
Right. So some inconsistency there, right? Oh, we just
thank God. Thank God, Mike.
I think I know what it is.
We were giving each other the signal. Finally, you got rid of him. Nice work.
Oh,
nice work.
I know exactly what that is. That's called a bio break. So that's what we'll call that one. So, but no, I felt like I think they were making strides. I think they were coming together. I mean, you can't look past the roster. I think you got Moorhead, you got Dizon, you got Chad George, you've got
unbelievable players.
Yeah, great, who've been there, done that, right? And those other 3 players that they brought in, Soap and Fry and La Papa, they were coming into their own. They were great communication. You watch any of their matches, the communication on the field is stellar. It's elite level. Mike,
and I just devil's advocate, the roster was stellar. What happened? What was their lack of success?
That's a great question.
Thanks.
I think
on it.
It's hard to put a finger on it, right? I don't know, Ryan, you want to take that one? I practiced them one time this season.
It's kind of a generic question, right? Because it could apply to a bunch of different teams.
Yeah.
When you have that good of roster, that much of a payroll finance where money isn't an issue, and you underperform like that.
Well, maybe that's where it is. And I'm not saying that some of those guys on those roster aren't used to this, but it seems like there was a tremendous amount of pressure to perform. And when you are being paid like that, when you are part of such a team that has that type of legacy, and so when you get what were some of their finishes, a 13th and 11th,
8th,
there's that pressure to perform and be consistent. So you start maybe start chewing at your own ankle a little bit, and maybe that starts deteriorating the culture a little bit. I don't know. And this is all speculation. I have no idea or insight into that. Maybe we'll have one of them on the show sometime and ask them. But
Ryan would be great to talk about that, or one of the other guys, Sam Monville, who's sharp.
It seemed like a lot of what you would have these moments of, wow, they're clicking, they're on fire, everything's right, and then you'd see some matches where they're kind of phoning it in. It seemed
when I saw this layout, one of the first teams I thought was like, oh, hey, this layout gives Heat a really good opportunity to play that kind of fast offensive paintball that they like to play. And then when I came out, and I was kind of surprised to see him not playing that kind of fast loose style that they like to play.
I think it's a great roster. And if the rumor is true, I'm sad to hear.
We will miss them, and any of those guys who want to play on other teams can go obviously play on other teams. They're all champions over and over.
I mean, you're talking about a team that was top 5 for how long?
Long time.
Yeah,
definitely one of the top 5 teams for the last decade.
And they're not off course for this is their second rebuild season or their first rebuild. What is it? I'm so lost right now.
I mean, technically it's their first, right? They had Tyler and Fedorov last year, so technically it's their first.
Right. So a 7th place finish, and I understand a lot of people don't necessarily see it this way, but I think that's a pretty good considering with the new blood and the system. And but that's just
like we talked about earlier. You look at the teams above them on the list, and there's not a bunch of soft teams, right? It's not like
we're talking Damage, Impact, X Factor, Legion, Fit, and Tauntauns.
So to say they didn't have
that's a murderer's row.
Yeah, it's not like they slacked off during the season, right? It's just that everybody above them was a little bit better at every aspect of the game.
Right.
That's exactly. Thank you, Paul. That's what I was going to say when when Rich was like, hey, Ryan, what do you think? That's exactly what I was going to say. So Paul Higgins says, whole season, it looks as though Heat were playing not to lose instead of playing to win. I agree.
Yeah.
Good to say. Yeah.
I think the problem was they picked stylistically this type of paintball that was a play not to lose. Play not to lose. There was very little attack. There was very little progression. And to me, the shining light on their team was the Andy Ramos kid. He was awesome. Ramos Saldana. I think he has 2 last names.
Yeah, Saldana.
I think Ronnie
he was lights out at our practice.
I think Ronnie was playing really good too.
But do you expect that?
Yeah. I do.
Yeah, but that's my point. What I'm saying is like a kid that literally I was like, ooh, right? Like that Andy kid.
Russian Legion practice soon.
He's from Houston and he does own his own business, but maybe he can do that in Tampa. I don't know.
Interesting.
Maybe he can do that in Tampa. Call me.
Call me. I'll hook you up with Brian.
Yeah. So I hate to see a franchise like that go away.
Yeah, we all do.
The potential exciting thing that can happen from something like that, though, is it does open the door for those players to kind of create new opportunities.
Yeah.
Right?
Or for another guy with money to come in and sponsor a team and sponsor a bunch of guys. And thinking of that, I'd like to thank Sarge and the whole family for supporting paintball for as long as you did, for as much as you did. We really appreciate it. And you will be sorely missed if you guys are out of here.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to talk about it like it's a sure thing.
Right.
Now, once we say it, it's law. Basically, even if they wanted to have the team, we wouldn't let them now at this point. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's too long. It's too far.
Oh, man.
Seattle uprising.
Agree. Yeah.
talked
Seattle
about it
Uprising.
earlier.
Yeah, we touched on them.
Touched on them. Yeah.
We touched on them.
Yeah, we touched on them.
Yeah, what Tyler and the coaching staff they're
Top 8,
doing.
right? Top 8. I think that's amazing for that program. If they could bump up 2 spots next season, 2 spots the season after that, be a top 4 team, I think that would be amazing.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah, is that their highest finish? Oh, they did have an 8th place finish, I believe, when there were 16 teams.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, this is probably the highest, right? Certainly to me, this has been their best, most consistent season, and they've
100%.
and they've looked like
Certainly
they were in a position to win a lot of games and position to actually, maybe win a tournament because they're playing so well. Next up on the list, we got. Go ahead.
And in a league that is quite different, right?
Again, everybody above them, absolute killers, right?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't got to where the list starts getting a little softer, right? We haven't got to that soft team yet. Like every team so far has been an absolute killer.
All right.
Team number 9, Dynasty.
We
already talked about Dynasty.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk more, we can, Mike. I feel like there's some hurt there.
No,
I'm good. Thank you.
Ryan, you got anything on Dynasty?
No. I mean, it's obviously you don't ever expect to see Dynasty that low, right? Ever.
Again, every freaking team on this list, though, is a fucking killer, man. Like nobody above Dynasty is a soft team. So the fact that Dynasty is there, and again, we looked at it. It's not like they, had a horrible season. They were just a little bit outside the whole way. And at this point in the league, that gets you into 9th place. Just being, just being that far outside.
Yeah.
And obviously they'll be back.
Hurricanes.
Are those the New Orleans Hurricanes or the Texas Hurricanes?
I understand it might be, and again, this is
yeehaw.
So it could be the Texas Hurricanes. Their new ownership has built a beautiful facility in Texas. It is gorgeous. It's on a lake.
I think it's at his house.
It's incredible.
Man, I got to go to that practice.
So
yeah, I think it's at his house.
Yeah, it is at his house.
That's what I like to hear. I always thought that was the best for like top teams to have a private field so they could go and play and not have to deal with all the craziness.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, so I think the Hurricanes. It'll be interesting to see what they do next season.
I think.
But what do you think?
I understand they're moving it to Texas.
But what do you think about this season? Like, did they overperform, underperform, or are they right where they should be?
I think they're right where they should be. I mean, I think maybe they could be at 8th instead of 10th. But I think
I agree. I think they certainly could have been in the top 10, and they are in the top 10. But I mean, they could have been a little bit higher in the top 10. Yeah. But I think they're right where they should have been.
Yeah, they placed 4th is their best place, 13th is their worst place. So right in between there, I think is, and the nice thing about that team is it's a mature team, right? It's not a bunch of kids. Like I don't feel like that roster is going to change a bunch. So again, if they can just get maybe 1 or 2 guys, a little bit more help for the program, you could see them improving, kind of like Uprising, improving 2 or 3 or 4 spots next season.
Yeah.
I think if the team moves to Texas, they could have.
I think we will see some changes in the roster.
There'll be some changes.
Yeah. Some other Texas players will be playing with them.
I think so.
I mean, for sure, they've already brought in Gerald Garcia in some capacity. He's kind of put it out there on social media.
Shout out to Gerald Garcia. What's up, homie?
Yeah. So G will be coming in to help. And he kind of talked to me a little bit. I think it was in Cincinnati. He was kind of wandering around the pit. Was it Cincinnati before Cincinnati? I think it was Cincinnati. He was kind of going around the pits with them. And he and John have been connected for a really long time. So Gerald will be involved in some capacity, which I do kind of love too, because Gerald's won events, right? He's won tournaments. He's a winner. He knows how to do it, and it'll be interesting to see how they use him.
Right. And remember, the Canes weren't known to travel. They weren't known to travel. So getting some of those guys to travel to Texas regularly might be difficult.
So remember that, Ryan.
I mean, I've known that forever, right? That like we've tried to practice them so many times where I'm like, hey, come here. And they're like, nah, we're just going to stay in Louisiana. And I'm like, it's August. Like, nobody's coming. Like, it's August. It's going to be 140 degrees there. Like, you get off the plane and you need powder immediately. Otherwise, your beans are just destroyed.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, shout out to David Gooch in Malaysia. He runs NXL Asia for the league, and he's a great guy over there. If you ever get a chance to go to Malaysia, I highly recommend it. He's in the chat.
Right.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Malaysia. That's a long ways.
Yeah. So I think also that the New Orleans Hurricanes are right where they should be.
I think so too, right?
Yeah.
Within two places, right? I mean, really close. They could have had one or two better events. They could have one or two worse events.
No, I think they're literally right where they should be.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think honestly, like we keep saying, man, so they're in 10th place. There's not one soft team ahead of them, right? There's not one gimme in the top 9. With the Hurricanes, there's not one gimme in the top 10, right? Like this is the league is in a different position, I think, than it's ever been before. There's more competitive teams at the top of this list than there have been in the past.
Yeah, the Hurricanes and the 2 teams below them, if I would have picked in the beginning of the season, these teams would be right where they are.
Yeah. Which is it's crazy because you talk to these guys and they're all they're all in their heads a top 4 team, and they don't see that like there's certain things that the top 4 teams do that you guys don't do, but they want to have that same success. And it's frustrating because I have friends on all 3 of those teams, and I'm like, I'd love to help you guys out, but you have these barriers, like. You got to kind of mimic what the top guys are going to do if you want to have the same success.
Right.
And your effort has to match your expectation, right?
There you go.
Your effort has to match your expectation. So when I see something, obviously one of the coaches of one of these teams, we love the guy, right? Like he's amazing. But every time I'm in their pit, it's like pure madness.
Chaos.
It's pure madness in there. Like I'm in there just like leaned against the pole, listening to what's happening, and it is pure madness, right?
Yeah.
And it's wild because when you're an emotional coach, right?
Like Bianca,
I think it's hard for you to not get sucked into that energy, right? And I think they need, the coaches need to take a deep breath. And remember, like, I'm the one who has to set the tempo in here, right? Which is calm,
cool,
organized, disciplined, right? That's how we are in here. Out there is where the chaos occurs. In here, calm, right? Let's keep our heads right, go out there, and that's where you waste your energy, not in here.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's, again, though, like, for some reason, the teams that are at that level and they're struggling with those things, they don't see that as why they don't do well, right? It's the referees, it's the bad paint, it's the bad game plan, it's the coach making the wrong call. It's not like, hey, the other pits come in, they're focused, they're calm, they're creative, like everyone's got their own little job, they got the buddy system going. Look how organized and how professional all the top teams are, right? They all have that in common. None of the top teams have chaotic pits. None of the top teams don't have 3 or 4 coaches. None of the top teams don't have chillers for their pods, right? Like, but those middle of the pack team and the bottom of the pack teams, they want to have the same results, but without doing the same work.
By the way, the team I was talking is not the Hurricanes; it's the Ironmen.
It's the Ironmen. I
just want to make sure.
Dare you? How dare you?
I'm not. The Hurricanes pit is very calm.
Yeah, no,
it wasn't. The Hurricanes pit was not that calm this event.
Okay, usually calm. Right.
Usually
they are pretty calm.
I was in the stands and I heard during a point they lost their stuff.
Yeah, they are mature most of the time. And nobody's perfect.
Right. And no, I get that. Right. Trust me. I lost my stuff in Texas. So I get it.
Yeah. So the next 2 teams below them, Baltimore Arsenal in 11th place. We kind of talked about this on the pre-show that they were 11th going in, and that's right where I think they should be. In fact, since the beginning of the season, it's exactly where I thought they should be and would be. And unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, that's right where they are.
Do you think without making changes to that program that they'll be in the same position next season, or
I think they'll get worse.
I agree.
I think they'll get worse.
I agree with that. And I think, what do we think about the Ironman?
Hang on. Before we, that's an interesting statement.
Some Arsenal time? We can spend some Arsenal time.
Yeah, you think Arsenal's going to get worse?
Well, I think
if they make no changes,
yeah, if they make no changes.
Okay, I missed that portion of it.
Their players are at that kind of point where they're not heading down the hill yet, but they're certainly at the leveling off. At the top of their careers. Don't have a ton of more good seasons. They don't have a bunch of young, fresh guys coming in, kind of pushing the top guys.
Yeah.
So I think they have to do some kind of rebuild, some kind of, there's going to be a bunch of good players floating around, right? And those guys are probably going to be looking for a home. Tom Ford's a great guy. So he could easily, build that roster back up, bring in some good some more coaches.
But do you think they really need a rebuild, or they just to me, they need two pieces, right? They've been running with 8 guys on their roster, which I think is fine.
Right.
But then when you lose a key Dorito guy, like they did going into the World Cup,
some of the guys need to brittle though, like Weaver and those guys. Like you can't run them too. Like Weaver for 2 or 3 points is one of the best in the league. If you make that guy run 6 points, 7 points in a row, 2 or 3 matches in, he's only at 70%, and that just at this point it doesn't cut it anymore. I think they need some young. I think the first thing they need is a program, right? I think a guy like you, Ryan, to come in and be like, this is the program, right? This is what these are our goals. These are our 3-month goals, our 6-month goals, our year goals. This is what we're going to try to accomplish. This is where we're going. And then I think they need some fresh blood. And I don't know the program well enough to know who the fresh blood would be, or who would work well, who wouldn't work well. But from the outside perspective, I think they need a program first, and then they need some fresh blood.
Well, unfortunately, I'm totally unavailable.
Yeah, for what you're getting paid, I bet.
I am staying right where I am because I'm incredibly, and I've said this and I'll say it here. When I'm done with Red Legion, I'm done, because I don't know that I can go anywhere else and have this kind of experience now that I've experienced the top down
excellence.
Yeah. And just
it's hard to go back and work with a bunch of, I wouldn't say, what's the word I'm looking for? Starts with an R, but I can't.
Yeah, don't say that one.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't think that I could go somewhere else and have this kind of
craziness.
No, I could tolerate it. It's just, I think that when you've been around a group of individuals as focused and determined as this group, I think it would be hard for me to go somewhere else.
It'd break your heart, right? Once you've seen it the right way, it's hard to go back and do it the wrong way, man.
Yeah. So when I'm done with Red Legion, I'm done.
We'll see.
Yeah. No, that's for real.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's for real. So, let's move on to the Ironman, shall we?
Yes.
They got to hold on to Tom Guest.
For sure.
Yeah, that's the one guy that everybody out there's got to be trying to get, right? And that's the one guy that if he leaves, you could see 2 or 3 other guys jumping ship to try to get whatever the best offer was before the ship sinks to the bottom and they have to rebuild again.
Yeah, I mean Tom is and Henry too, but
Henry too.
Yes, yeah. Tom was
Henry's
just
really good at paintball too. Yeah, I don't think
Tom was.
Yeah, I don't think the interest will be as high for Henry as it is with Tom.
Yeah,
those tall guys that can move well, that can kind of see the field, go up the middle, fill in. Those guys are very, very valuable, and it seems like he's got a good attitude. Every time I see him, he's playing a little bit better. Everyone who plays with him speaks really highly of him. So
great teammate.
Yeah, so hopefully the Ironman planned for this last season, right, and made some multi-year contracts or made some multi-year deals, or the bond is just so strong that he's willing to go for another season. But again, I think those guys need a refresher, right? Like they have great coaches, they got great players, but they need to get on a program together and kind of start pushing in the same direction.
They need an analytics person.
I tried to get Dan. I offered to pay Dan to go coach for them for the World Cup, but it seemed like they don't really value that aspect of the game, right? They're more about the,
more about the bloody knuckles.
Yeah,
right?
Go out there and
smash mouth paintball, go out there and go forward.
I would never
add an analytics aspect to that.
Yeah, I would never tell Shane or Paxton how to coach, but I would tell anybody that analytics is a really big part of the game now. And if you don't, and I think Dan's probably one of the top 5 guys when it comes to breaking down what the other team is going to do against you. And if you don't know how to use that, figure it out, right? Bring a guy in like that can give you that information, because it's a huge asset. And if the other team knows where you're going most of the time and knows where to shoot, and you don't have that same advantage, you're going to lose a lot of points.
Well, and not just, again, in that first 30 or 10 seconds, but if you know what a team, what do they want to do?
What do they want to do?
What the box looks like this.
Yeah.
If the box looks like this, here's where they want to be. If the box looks like this, here's where they want to be. And this is their setup, right?
And when this guy goes here, he does this.
Yeah, you want to attack that?
Yeah.
You can do now. You have this space and this space. If we shoot this guy, you've got this space. If we shoot this guy, you've got this space. Like they just need an analytics guy that can put some process around that emotional system.
It's just another layer. It's just another layer of weapons, right? Like,
well, it's guardrails. It's guardrails from letting the emotional system explode and get out of touch, right?
Yeah.
So if you put those guardrails in saying, hey, if you see this, this is what they want to do. When they have so-and-so out there with this combination, they probably want to do this. Hey, watch for this guy's tendency. When he lines up this way, this is what they want to do. That type of stuff, that's great for the first 10 seconds. Then it's, to Ryan's point, those analytics are going to give you insight into how to counterpunch. And when you're just, and I don't mean this because one of my dearest friends, but when you've got that pit and you've got this push and pull, right, from players and coaching staff and et cetera on how to counterpunch, there has to be that guiding oar. There has to be that guy that says, no, this is what the data says. This is what we're going to do. Everyone buy in. And then you've got a little bit more of a puncher's chance. But if you let it become emotional and don't have those guardrails, then you get the inconsistencies that you've seen out of the Ironmen the last 2 years.
And what else do you get when things get chaotic?
Rich?
I have no idea.
You get all these yellow and red flags that start flying.
Here it comes,
the air,
because we get frustrated and we start pushing things, trying to do it on our own and not as a team, right? Well, I'll show them.
My experience that when players don't have the right and enough information, they make bad decisions.
100%.
Right? They make bad decisions. And a lot of times those bad decisions come with penalties.
Yeah. The best thing you can do for your player is kind of think it all out for him, right? Hey, when you come here, this is the situation. If this, then this, right? And if you come here and this is the situation, if this, then this. So then afterwards in practice, if they veer from the path, you can be like, hey, this is what we talked about. If he's here, if this, then this, right? And then just get them right back on the path. So they don't have to think a ton of it. They can react, not think about it.
They also need accountability. If I was involved there, I'd be videoing, I'd be taping practices. And then when one of them says, no, I didn't do that. Oh yeah, you did. Here it is.
It's to me, the big thing that I noticed, and again, I was watching a lot of pits, is the vibe in the pit, right? The vibe in the pit. They were doing the high fives and stuff in the beginnings of the matches and stuff. And then as the match went, you just saw it just kind of dissolve and just, it wasn't there anymore.
Yeah. And I do want to, there's that dude one says, Ryan, with that Triad shirt on, this is a supplement company. Just FYI, it's not a Triad loader shirt. So don't get weird about that.
I saw that.
He is selling Triad loaders if anybody needs any. And he does have a good deal on them.
Yeah. It's a supplement company that gives me free supplements. So,
well, I need a t-shirt then.
Yeah, I think we all do.
I need free supplements.
I can get you a t-shirt. The supplements, I don't know. You got to work out a little more if you want something.
You got to hit the gym, bro.
True, I do. Who knows? I might have more time.
Infamous?
Yeah.
Infamous.
I hate to say this, but Infamous, unfortunately, is right where they should be.
Yeah. And Infamous is, man, all through the season, they've had moments of grandeur where you're like, oh, boom, they're clicking. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Let's go. And then you watch the next match, and you're like, what? That's a completely different team. Oh, okay. Next match, they'll get it together. Next match, they play horrible. Next match after that, they play amazing. And you're just like, bro, what is going on? Super talented roster, super talented coach, plenty of money, plenty of practice time. But for some reason, it's just not clicking, man.
Now, we talked about this on the pre-show. They have everything they need to be a successful program. They have the athleticism. They have the experience. They have the leadership. They have the support. But we're just not seeing the execution out on the field. There's no consistency there. And it's almost like one match, you'll see them, and it's like, wow, they are playing as a team. Great execution. The next match, it's nothing but individual play.
Yeah, 100%. So, again, I think Travis just needs to go through, kick everybody in the ass, and kind of get them refocused, right? They don't need new players. They don't need new money. They don't need new coaches. They just need to kind of refresh, right? Hit reset, kick everybody in the ass again, make sure they look everybody in the eyes. Is this something you want to do? Do you have another season in you? Do you want to make a push for the title? If so, let's go. If not, we'll bring in new people.
Yeah, it's attitude adjustment.
Yeah, 100%. But again, and I feel like I've brought this up a few times, if you look above Infamous on the list, every freaking team up there is still kind of a killer, right? There's no softball teams up there, right? There's no leverages up there. There's no energy elites up there. There's new NYXs up there. There's no like team that shouldn't be up there. All the teams that are up there are either right where they should be or a little bit lower than they should be. And it's a very competitive league at the top.
Okay, but roster on paper, infamous Ironman.
I think
infamous Arsenal.
Infamous has a better roster.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, if you look at Infamous on paper, you look at the names on that roster and how good some of those guys are individually, right? Yeah. And then you look at the teams above them, with the exception of number 9, they right below 7 to me.
Honestly, and now that I'm looking at it, they had a bad season. 13th, 17th,
yes.
14th, 10th, and 14th. That's a bad season for that good a team. So do they lose players?
One Sunday appearance.
They forget it. Like that's a rough season for those guys. Well, that's a big underperformance.
I think you can say you can almost say the exact same thing about the team sitting beneath them.
Yeah, yeah. Especially because they did so well last year and there was so much hype behind the program.
Right.
Like Shock looked like they were going to be winning tournaments. They had one good tournament last year, but it was a real good tournament. And if you have, a lot of teams don't have any good tournaments, right? So having one good tournament, like Damage having one good tournament this year, it makes a big difference. But
I think the story with and not so much with Infamous, but with Aftershock, I think the story is, you've got tremendous talent from the top to bottom, but not everybody meshes well.
I was going to say, what's your guys' insight? Because that program last year was more successful than it was this year, but it had the same roster, same coaches. They added, Connor Kelly, so arguably another good player. And yet this year is nothing like last year. The vibe's not the same. Nothing's the same.
Well, it's like we've talked about before, winning's the difference maker. When you're seeing success, everybody's happy and everyone's gelling. When things get tough, then the finger pointing starts happening. Right. In some instances. And I think what happens, you've got a tremendous amount of A-type personalities on that roster. And sometimes they're going to butt heads. And in some instances, that tension is healthy, like in a Dynasty or a Damage or whatever, where that you've got these, in highly intelligent players that feed off each other, even though the tension's there, they feed off each other and eventually row in the same direction and go, okay, yes, we agree. I think sometimes what you're seeing with Aftershock is that's not always there. At least that's the feel I get.
I do agree that they don't feel like a team. It's like a group of mercenaries more than it is a team, right? And that's never never a successful thing when you get a bunch of guys that are kind of there for the money, right, or for themselves, not really for the team. That's just my feeling from the outside, right? I have tons of respect for those guys.
100%,
love to death, but mercenaries never work out, right? And that team, I think, I don't know if that was the intent from the beginning to build them as a mercenary or whatever, but for whatever reason, they didn't become a family. They didn't become a team. And that's kind of showing why, even though they're as talented as they are, they're in 14th place.
They were built to win. There's no doubt.
They were built to win.
Yeah, I mean, I think I used this analogy in the pre-show and it still stood true at World Cup. It's like, if you look at a Viking ship, everybody has to row together, right? And they can't really see what the other side is doing. They're just rowing in cadence, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like on Aftershock, you've got like 2 guys on one side that are just off. They're off just a little bit, right? And so the boat continues to go in the wrong direction, right? And I think at this point, it's made landfall. It's made landfall. I mean, it would not surprise me to see a completely different Shock next year.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, they're one of the question marks we talked about. And I think you're right. I think Todd, he's going to.
I've heard they're cutting the whole team.
Yeah. He's not one to sit idly by. He's a man of action. And I think
he wants to win for sure.
He wants to win. And I think
nobody wants to win more than Tammy.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
100%. She's the real boss. So I guess we should ask her what was going to happen.
Yeah. And again, like we practiced them going into the World Cup. And they just seem a little dysfunctional, right? They're like, you can hear guys talking and yelling in the pit and like, hey, stay positive. Like, shit, this is prep, right? That we shouldn't be having arguments. It's prep. We're learning. You're supposed to lose a lot. In fact, the majority of the time, if you lose a lot in the prep, you have a good tournament, right? But it just seems like there's dysfunction,
Too bad.
That's spot on right there. Joey K says,
sure.
Getting good players is easy. Getting them to play together is the hard part. That's
100%.
Right.
Developing, a team that's already good is easy to coach, but developing a team and developing players that's the challenging part for sure.
Making them trust each other.
Yeah, but that's what makes it so addicting, right? Because it's so challenging to do that it's such a hard thing that it's so rewarding when you can pull it off.
Right.
Yeah, if it was easy, it would be way less rewarding.
Yeah, it wouldn't be as fun, right? For sure.
Yeah.
Like that's why, like, even if I don't like a team or if I don't like somebody, if they're successful, if they do good, I respect them because it's really, really hard to do. And no matter whether I agree with them or not, you got to respect the fact that they can do something really, really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Who we got now?
We're almost an hour and a half into this show, and we still have a lot to cover.
Diesel. It's because you guys talk so much.
Right.
I knew this was going to be a long one.
Yeah.
I knew it. Right?
Diesel.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, Diesel's in a tough spot, right? They finished out the season in 15th. They brought some players. They lost some players. Now they've got some players retiring. I hope Mark Johnson can, keep the program together and keep playing and keep Diesel going. But I think it's going to be a tough off season for them and a tough new season for them next season if they don't, bring in new guys to replace the guys they lost and, try to get some mojo going again. Because it looked like once the, things were turning around that they were playing better towards the end of the season. But then, Clint Johnson retired.
Losing Clint Johnson and BJ.
Yeah, BJ, that's tough.
It's like in that movie Pet Cemetery and the knife under the bed and cuts the Achilles heel.
No team wants to lose two starters, right?
No.
Like that's tough. It's one thing when you lose like your sixth or seventh guy, right? Or your fifth guy maybe. But when you lose a legit starter, sometimes those holes never get filled.
And not just legit starters, but like for Mark Johnson, like the foundational pieces of the team that were family to him.
Yeah.
Right.
Then
that have been there kind of, Clint, Mark kind of came into the Texas Storm team at the same time, like in 2010, and have been playing together literally since then, other than I think 1 year. So like for Clint to step away. Yeah. Mark Johnson was Clint's best man in his wedding, right? Like these guys they're family, right? So for those foundation, from a coach perspective, I talk about, you got to set the cornerstone appropriately, right? If we don't have a foundation that we can appropriately build upon, we don't have anything. We're done, right, from the beginning. And so when you lose those foundational pieces, it's tough, right? And for Mark, to try to figure that out in 3 months is incredibly challenging, right? It's a undertaking. We've talked about it all the time. It's really fucking hard to run a professional team.
It's the hardest thing in the world, man.
And then two, like if you can imagine to put it into perspective, if a team like Dynasty was to lose like Alex and Ryan at the same time,
right?
You can't replace those guys, right?
You might never recover.
You go rebuild a house. You're building a new house, right?
Yeah,
there's no rebuilding on that foundation. It is now rubble, right? You're now building a brand new house. So for Mark, and like you, Rich, I hope Mark can figure it out. I think he's a great owner. I think we need guys like him in paintball. So I hope he does figure it out. And it's going to be tough.
Me too.
Yeah. Question mark for Diesel. Now you already ate your pro on leverage.
I did.
So
I did.
Sea Dogs. I thought Sea Dogs showed up and did better than anticipated the first part of this season. And they really showed some growth, and then they just kind of fell back.
Yeah.
The last two events they struggled.
Yeah. It's so they're a good team if they get up on points on the break and then can cross it up and play long, slow. They're like a lower division damage, not lower division, but like a not as good Tampa Bay Damage. I look for them to maybe improve a spot or two for next season, but also maybe be around the same position they're at now, right?
Oh yeah.
If they make
Can we address this really quick? Because it always makes me laugh when I see stuff like this.
What's this?
Casual says break the bank and grab one Fit. Fit just won the series.
They just won the series.
Nobody's leaving.
No one's leaving.
Nobody cared about winning the
Guys,
series.
stop it.
They just won the series. They're
No
not
one's
going
leaving
anywhere.
Whoever said that, I agree with you. Throw a bunch of money at those guys and see who starts walking.
They ain't going.
I don't think money will do it. I don't.
Oh, you're crazy.
$1 million, he'd probably.
Yeah.
Oh well, come on now.
Start at 500,000.
Who's doing that?
Work your way backwards.
Yeah.
Who's doing that?
Nobody.
Yeah. So
really? Yeah, we're gonna raise the bar.
If somebody starts getting $1 million, I want a big raise.
Somebody starts getting real money.
Yeah, I want a big raise.
I want to know their friends.
Yeah.
What about ASG Aftermath? This team has struggled, gone through multiple coaches, looked really good 2 seasons ago, looked decent last season, just had a terrible season this season. They did 17th, 15th, 18th, 16th, and 23rd. Lots of good players on the team, right? They play all the time. They've got a great field. They got great support with Wayne, but there's something missing there, and I'm not sure what it is. I guess
they just have no identity. Yeah, they just like I've been on them all season. They have no identity. Like they'll like,
try to play slow. Then
there's no systems. Like they honestly look like a team that is
trying not to lose. Right?
They're just going through the motions. Yeah. They're like the team right now that I feel like just shows up to say they can play. They're pro paintball players.
They all had a dream at one time of being a top professional paintball player. They've let that go, and now they're just playing paintball, right?
Yeah, it's not who they are, or it's not who they are. It's what they do.
They need a refresh. Yeah, they need a refresh.
They're just like we're here to hang around. We want to be in the pit, and like
this is kind of fun. It's kind of cool.
And it's maddening, right? Because again, I agree with what you said, Rich. They do have good players.
They've got like I'd say 3 or 4 legitimately good players.
Fantastic practice facility. Yeah. What are you practicing that is you know what I mean? Like what is happening?
I think though that again they need a program, right? They don't have a program. They don't have they practice themselves. They practice the local. Like they need a program,
a coach,
and be like, listen. We're going to practice against Dynasty. They're our team. Wherever they go, we go, or whoever the team that they can do that with, and just start building that program back up. Or they need to let that stuff go because, man, this is a hard sport to go out there and not like have a clear path, right? Just to go out there and do over and over again. There's so much better things to do with your time. Paintball is too hard.
I like those guys. I like the
I've talked. There's no boneheads on the team. They're all nice guys. Wayne's a nice guy.
It's hard to understand why. Well, it's not but at the same time, it is the amount they play, right? You would think there's something coming out of that. And the definition of an insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. And I'm not seeing any changes. What I mean by that is from a practice perspective, because Dynasty's practiced them several times this weekend. I don't think they're having the right conversations. I don't think they're identifying the right problem. I think they maybe went to work on some problems after this event or that event. They identified the wrong problem and didn't adapt appropriately.
Can I just bring up something that's a little off subject but similar subject? There's like a minimum level, right? A minimum level of things that you have to do in order to be successful at this league. Can we agree with that?
Of course.
So having a pit person, right? We talked about this before the show. Having a pit person that ensures that your paint is as good or better than the paint that your opponent has. That's a crucial thing, right? Like if you're looking to build a top team now, can you go and do it without having a solid pit?
No,
absolutely not, right?
No,
there's just no way, right? It just doesn't happen. Can you run a top team without having a good, solid coaching staff, whether that's 1 or 2 coaches and then 1 or 2 players that are very mature that can kind of work with and help, separate the coaches and the players? Can you run a top program without really good coaching staff?
No.
What are other things that you have to have in order to have a successful program now? You have to have good teams to practice against, right?
Right.
You can't just play against yourself or beat up on the divisional team, right?
Actually, Paintball Fit and Seattle Uprising have both
proven that there will always be exceptions to the rule. But generally speaking, if you want to improve your style of paintball and your level of paintball, you go play against a team that's as good or better than you as often as possible. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Are there anything other than the 4 or 5 things we've listed that we have to do if we want to be a successful team?
All of them.
Yeah. Your guys have to be in good shape, right? Again, Paintball Fit, there's a couple guys that aren't physical specimens or whatever, but generally speaking,
to be clear though, they are in really good shape.
They play every point, so they must be fine, right? So again, you have to be physically fit, right? If you're not in good shape, if you look at your roster and you've got guys that aren't healthy, aren't in good shape, they don't run, they're not athletes, all that stuff, man. If you're not doing all of those things, you have no chance. You have no chance of being a top 4 team. No matter how much you spend, no matter how good your players are, if you're not doing those bare minimum things, and again, When you start getting down to the 9th and 10th place team, those guys aren't doing those things, right? But they're expecting those same results. They still want to win. They still want to be a top 4 team. They just don't want to do all those other key components.
Yeah, it's funny you said that, because if you go
Frustrating.
11, 12, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, none of them have those things you mentioned.
100%. And they wonder, like, hey, we're so good, we should be winning anyway. No, you can't. Just like we talked about having a technical scout on a team, right? If you're running a program and you don't have a really good scout that's preparing you to go against your team, when he has his little 15 minutes of the meeting and he's not on point and telling you all the stuff that he needs to tell you, you're at a huge disadvantage, right? And that other coach and that other team that's playing has an advantage. And if you put enough advantages on your side, you're going to win. If you don't stack up those advantages on your side, you're not going to win. And that's the difference in consistency, and that's the difference in success at the top of this. And it's not about spending a ton of money, right? You can do the same things without spending the money. It's easier with money, but you don't have to. But you have to do the top things. All the things that you can control, you have to control 100%.
Yeah, agreed.
Sorry for my tirade. I end it now.
No, well said.
It's exactly right. Yeah. So, and it perfectly leads us into NYX, right? Who we kind of talked about doesn't have any of those things.
No, they have some good players, right?
But they don't have a good pick crew. They don't have a great coaching staff.
And they have charisma. They have some charisma. Okay, let's not take that away from them. Their jerseys are snazzy. They have snazzy jerseys.
They do have snazzy jerseys.
But
Max,
other than that, they start to not have some of the key components that we talked about earlier. You're right. Like all of them.
Yeah, they have none of them.
Yeah, and again, like if you didn't need to have those things, people wouldn't be doing those things. All the top teams wouldn't do those things if they didn't have to do them, right? When you look down at Impact, and they've got 4 or 5 coaches over there. You look at Damage, they got 3 or 4 coaches over there. You look Rich and Legion, they got 3 or 4 coaches over there. They're not doing that just because they want to, right? They're doing that because that gives them a competitive advantage. And if you want to win in this league, you have to take as many competitive advantages as you can.
Yeah, agreed.
There you go.
So New York Extreme, they did 19th, 19th, 17th, 14th, and 21st. So struggling a little bit, but again, they don't have all the tools that everybody else has, right? It's not really fair for them, right? Everybody else has got way more advantages than they do.
It's sarcasm felt.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. That has to be sarcasm
felt. Yeah,
but do you feel they created that for themselves?
Yeah, 100%. They're a great group of guys to hang out with and have fun with, and they're good at paintball. They're not willing to do the hard things, right? That's kind of separates the clubs. Every team has this conversation: are we a paintball club or are we a paintball team, right? Paintball clubs get together, they have fun, they socialize, they joke about stuff, but they don't really expect to win because they don't do the hard shit that you have to do to win. Paintball teams joke around, do all that other stuff, but when it comes to doing hard stuff, they accept that, hey, because we want to win, we're going to have to do hard shit. And they go out and do that hard shit, and it suffer and it sucks, but they do that and they end up winning. And that's just the combination that everybody understands.
Yep. Yeah. And so I talk about leadership a lot. And one of the things I've talked about is in the absence of real leadership, a leader will emerge.
Chaos reigns.
A leader will emerge. And usually it's someone who is not ready to have that responsibility.
Someone who's leading for the wrong reasons, right?
Yes. And sometimes it's your best player. Sometimes it's an owner, right?
Oftentimes it's the best player's best friend.
Could be, right? But it's one of those, like, it's a problem when it occurs, and when it happens and everybody kind of falls into this false sense of
security.
Not even really
we got a leader now.
right?
We got a leader now. Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah,
Finally,
it's not even really security as much as it's just like, I don't want to lead, so I'm going to follow. Right.
Yeah.
And they just allow that person to take the reins. And this is not a slight on Harris. It's just that Harris, like any other player, needs to be coached. When Harris is free to kind of do Harris things, like when we practice them, they went a whole day with going to the 5 first spots on the field and sitting there. And then they started playing a little, and I said, hey, if you guys will move, you may win because you're good off the break. But then you stop. Everything stops. And we're beating you with 4 guys attacking. And so then they started.
So many points for practice, right? So you don't want to give up 20 points.
Yeah. So they started playing a little more up tempo. And I literally walked over and I was like, wow, look at there. It's amazing what happens when you guys move.
Giddy up.
And again, this was like from a moment of I think I'm an okay coach telling them, you guys need to move, like play a little more up tempo, right? And then they start finding a little success, right?
It's no slight on Harris. No player can coach and play in this league.
Totally.
Yeah, I've said that for years. Player coaches, you're asking for discipline.
To have the perspective that you have on the field while you're playing and all these things are happening and you're looking left and you're looking right, blah, 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 compared to the objective perspective of somebody on the sidelines, watching their game, watching your point, watching everything objectively is night and day. I've had people come off the field that, I love and respect and tell me just batshit crazy stuff. And I'm like, no. None of that happened, right? None of that. I don't know.
Right.
You go sit down. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that those guys want to come off the field and then put together the game plan and like, how'd you play? How'd you die? Okay, you should do this. Get the hell out of here, man. That's a coach's job, right? Somebody objectively that's sitting on the sidelines being a coach.
And to be clear, none of those guys are Ryan Greenspan or J-Rap.
No.
Right? Who can come off
the field and do that?
Yeah, there will be exceptions to every rule, right? But the rule is still that you don't do that, right?
But even those guys don't try to do it.
No, and I would say that Ryan would be better as a player or as a coach. And he's probably only 80% if he's trying to do both of those jobs, right? Instead of being 100% on one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yeah. All right, last is an easy one. NRG Elite.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit earlier. They had the most heartbreaking paintball season ever, and our heart goes out to those guys. Alan's a great owner. His kids are good at paintball, but they had the worst season ever. 7 or 8 points lost in overtime by 1 point, and that is, man, emotionally, mentally, physically just draining, right? The fact that they were able to show back up with their heads up high and go back out there and battle is very, very commendable, and my hats are off to those guys. And I hope that they merge with New York Extreme or somebody else and continue to, try to figure out how to be successful in this league. But again, there's somebody that has struggled, right? They don't have a program. They seem to bring in really good players and lose those really good players because of turmoil on the team or something going on that, doesn't work. And if you're going to be successful, you have to have some kind of winning program or successful program. And I think that's what they need.
To be fair, they did bring one of the guys back for World Cup and he played great.
Yeah,
he played great.
You're talking about Evan Manners.
Yes, he played great.
Played outstanding.
But they've had a history of having really good players come on that team and then leave because of personality issues with other players on the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chris Shields on that team.
They won one match the entire year, and it was the very last match they played after they were already relegated.
Yeah, once the pressure was off, right?
I know. That's what was so heartbreaking.
It's not though. It shows you the pressure, man. Like we've all worked with players that you've been working with, and they just don't get it. And then they decide, hey, I'm not going to play anymore. And all of a sudden their level goes way up because there's no pressure anymore, right? The pressure's off and then they're playing amazing. And now they're, going to go get their job. And you're like, dude, you finally started playing good. And now you're leaving. This is ridiculous. But some people just can't deal with the pressure, man. It's tough.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I think that's where, I don't know their coach, but I think that's where a good coach can come in and change that environment, right? Change the attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of change that culture from like, hey, it's okay if we don't win, but let's at least play our best paintball, right?
Yeah.
Let's not go out and play just to stay alive. Let's go out and play to win games.
Or like, hey, I get it that you guys don't get along on the team. I don't care about that. Put your differences aside, be professionals, and go out and win this tournament. Like I won world championships with people that I loathe, but I would never let that come in front of me winning,
Well, talking about relegation, that leads us right into the very next conversation, which is about semi-pro.
Yep.
So we welcome a brand new professional team into the league with the Bear Ridge / now Jungle Cats.
Yeah, it is now the Jungle.
I said Jungle Cats to some people, and they're like, "Who the hell is the Jungle?" Like,
I thought the same thing when I saw the names come up on the screen. I'm like, I must have missed these guys all season. I haven't been paying attention enough.
Yeah.
And
I was just going to say, Ryan, they had an absolutely stellar season until World Cup. If the Cats hadn't won the first seed in the preliminary champion bracket, we might have a different pro team for next season. It was that close.
Collision,
I haven't done the math, but had Collision not lost in the quarters as well, it may have been Collision who were the next pro team. But I was shocked by the Cats, second, first, second, and then they looked really solid in the the preliminary matches they played, and then they lost in the quarters in a match against P-Mob, and they just didn't look like themselves, compared to the day before. So, but don't get me wrong, I have a tremendous amount of friends on that team. I love that team. I've helped coach that team, and
did you say you're coaching that team?
I did not say that.
It sounded like you said you're coaching that team.
And
it's probably my ears, so I apologize.
But long story short, I think they have an opportunity here now that they are in the pro division. They have a really good opportunity here to upset some people. I think they could be another Hurricanes. I think they could be another, Royal City Sea Dogs, that type of team that shows up and makes an impact early.
Where do you think they could place?
I think they could be in the top 15.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think anywhere between 15 and 12th right now.
Okay.
So
I think that's probably fair for anybody coming in from the semi-pro. That would be a good season, right?
Their team captain is in the chat, and here's what he had to say. We suck. 5th place sucks. Everything sucks. So,
yeah, I knew as soon as they secured 5th place, they won it by 1 point. I had already done the math.
Had you? Okay.
The only thing I would be critical
Razor 10 then. I wasn't. Yeah,
the only thing I would be critical of the Jungle Cats is they got 2nd place, 2nd place, 2nd place. And although that's amazing, right? They won 1 tournament, and they need to learn how to win tournaments, right? I didn't even know who they lost to.
Did you know that there was another semi-pro team who came in and won the spot, who never won a tournament during their semi-pro year that they went pro, and then came in the next year and was one of the better pro teams?
I happen to know who that team is.
Is it the Hurricanes?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So they did not win a tournament the entire season of their semi-pro year. But now keep in mind, that was probably the grittiest semi-pro we've had in the last 10 years.
We were the only semi-pro team that was
it was both the Hurricane team. Yeah, both the Hurricane team, Blast Camp. Like, it was a gnarly semi-pro, right? Again, probably the best semi-pro we've had in 10 years.
Yeah.
And those guys came in, didn't win a tournament. I was down on them because I was like, these guys couldn't even win in semi-pro. Now they're going to come into the pro league, and they were great.
Yeah, well, and I don't mean to be negative. Like, 2nd place is great. Everyone's always like, oh, 2nd place sucks. Anyone who's a real competitor knows that 2nd place is better than everybody else below that, right? There was one guy that beat you. But, like, devil's advocate, they were in position to win 4 tournaments this year. Out of those 4 tournaments, they got 1 first place and 3 second places. So I do want to be clear.
I do want to be clear that I think the way Paintball Fit did it is the right way.
Right.
Like, when you go into the semi-pro and you learn how to win there, you come into the pro league.
It pays off. It pays dividends. Yeah.
Yes. Right. And so when you think about, Paintball Fit's by far the best semi-pro team we've ever had come into the league.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And that, with no question.
Well, they have to be the only team that was pro that went back down to semi-pro and came back to pro, right? So it's
and that experience was invaluable, right?
It was.
No one's ever been able to phase through that.
Totally, right? But also, I think it speaks a lot to their grit and character to get the shit beat out of them, stay together, go back, win semi-pro the way that they did. It took them 3 years to get back. Right.
That's
3 seasons to get back. And then when they did come back, they're fully ready. They won every single tournament, right, in semi-pro that year, and then come into the league, struggle a little bit for the first few events, but then win World Cup, and now the best team in the world.
Yeah. And honestly, that is a concern, right? That the Jungle Cats they're deep, they won D3, then they won D2, and then they immediately went to semi-pro. Now they've won semi-pro. So
way to do it, man. Work your way up.
It is. They have worked their way up, but will it be enough? Will it be enough experience? Right.
They might need a little help with the coaching, a little extra help with the coaching staff, but I think they could do really good next season.
Yeah.
You already know that, they're gonna struggle for a few events, and that's okay. Hopefully they expect,
as long as they expect that, right? As long as it's not a surprise to them.
Right. The key is going to be managed expectation setting, realistic goals, right, and understanding what type of work has to be put in. And then not only is the work got to be put in, keeping that positive mental attitude as you face the adversities they're obviously going to face early on in the season. So, if they can keep it together, they've got a talented roster. They have a talented, intelligent roster. So
Yeah, I'm really interested in watching them kind of develop as a team. I've seen them practice. I've seen them play a little bit, but as a new team coming up, obviously I don't have the time watching them as most teams, so it's kind of exciting.
Which leaves LA Collision, Distortion, Jesters, who had a pretty winning season, right? Like Jesters have been a semi-pro team, I think, for 97 years.
It's 100 years. It's 100 years this year.
Yeah, forever, right?
25 was their first year. 18.
And really have a pretty damn good season. And then, like, let's talk about the guys who actually, played in the finals. So all 4 teams who got the buys got knocked out. Right. In the pro,
stupid buys.
In the pro, all 4 of the 3 of the 4 teams got knocked out in the first round.
Stupid buys.
Right.
I don't
love the buy
next year.
I don't love the buy. I don't like it at all.
No, it's horrible.
You get 40% less time on the field. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, and it's the most crucial, right? It's if you look at like a practice, right? Like that's everyone else is getting 2 more rounds of the absolute best practice and making the adjustments twice after you've made those adjustments, and you're just watching it, theorizing, hoping for the best. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people in the chat talking about the double points. I'll tell you why I like the double points is because it's World Cup. I believe you got to be playing your best paintball coming. It's like our Super Bowl. I think it should be worth more. Yeah, it's okay. We can have differing opinions.
Oh, sorry. I forgot the camera was on.
Yeah, we can have different opinions. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
But I think you should be playing your best paintball coming into the World Cup, just like the Super Bowl. If you're not playing your best paintball, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
Because everybody talks about, well, they won these other events. Yeah, that's fine. Like it's like the preseason, or it's like looking at the regular season. Great, you won these other games, but if you can't come to the World Cup and perform at your highest level, then maybe you don't deserve it. My opinion.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the 2 teams that won. So first of all, I want to Shock. I got to watch a couple of their games. Shock played really well. Really, really well. Thomas Taylor, got to watch him have a little fun on the semi-pro field. He looked really, really good. All the Shock guys looked great. Kind of stomped their way through the preliminary rounds, get into the Sunday brackets, and really just kind of run a racket right up until they met. Finally, the team that we've been talking about all year finally puts it together in New York Wrecking Crew and wins the World Cup, right? Exactly. And we've sort of been expecting them to, play better all year.
I mean, they only had one bad event, really. Lone Star, they were 18th, but everywhere else they were 3rd, 5th, 7th. So they've been pretty consistent.
Yeah, 5th, 7th is not like for a team that should
that's not what you expect from that team.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So, from as talented as they are, a team that really should be looking at the pro field at every event.
Are those guys going to play semi-pro again next year? Or are they going to try to buy a spot? Or are they going to try to get split up? What's going on? Talk to me, people. What's the team?
I mean, we'll see what happens. High likelihood they get picked apart.
Yeah.
High likelihood.
Yeah, it's hard to keep those young guys at that level for 2 or 3 seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when they're the most talented guys on the team.
And it's one thing if like your team is sponsored well.
Yeah.
Right? If you've got a great sponsor who's really helping you, it's easier to keep guys around. But if you're paying, $15,000 a year to play and not finding the success, but individual talent is there, it's really hard not to get picked apart.
This is such a hard sport from every aspect, right? From the players, the coaches, everybody. Like getting everybody together and pointing in the same direction is so challenging, and that's why it's so remarkable when it comes together.
Right.
Yeah. And then again, Shock played great. They look great.
Yeah, they look really good. A lot of confidence, bouncing around.
Next year, our semi-pro, it could look gnarly.
It could.
Yeah, I was Mob won one event too, didn't they, this season?
P-Mob won an event.
And got a 3rd and a 5th. So
LA Collision got better and better throughout the entire season. They
won an event.
I think they're doubling down next season. I think they're really going to try to make a push. I think if they would have gone somehow would have slipped into the pro spot, I think they would have really, stepped up their program. But I think they may take one more season of semi-pro and kind of figure it out and then make a big push next season. But we'll see.
Preferred Mob should have been in the discussion if they haven't pooped the bed at the first event, because they won an event and were consistent after that. They were a Sunday team.
Yeah, it was just that first event, placing 22nd, just shot them. They just killed them, man. If not, they would have definitely been much higher.
Right.
I think semi-pro could be really entertaining next season.
I agree.
WNXL.
All right. Well, the story heading into that one, right, really came down between, I felt, the heroines and the femmes.
Yeah.
At that point,
obviously.
both had won an event, right? And it was interesting. And, what kind of Dallas vibe would we see there? There was the episode we had with Jen Folk was great. And Anthony Vitale.
Gonna have her back on in 2 weeks.
That's right. And some great stories heading into this event. And, well, it looks like the heroines did it again. And it's just a powerful roster. It's just a powerful roster.
Yeah. And with seconds left, right? Yep. Like a very dramatic finish. And I already see somebody in here talking about it, so I want to touch on it.
Yeah.
That young lady, if you don't know her, she's 15 years old. She plays with all her heart.
Yep.
All her heart. Like, this is for her. This is who she is, not what she does. She plays her ass off.
Right.
And for her to have that moment, though, from outsiders, we all want to, judge. And for me, it's always like, hey, you got those $2 pods in your pack. We'll throw one of those things.
Throw one of those. Don't throw the potential missile.
Yeah, the $2,000 potential missile, right? But the reality is, she had a moment that was uncomfortable, and she didn't know where to put that at the time.
Right.
And it's a great learning lesson for her, and I'm sure that she will, make those changes moving forward.
Sounds like she's
that
passionate.
girl. Yeah, that young lady
100%.
plays.
If you've ever met her in person,
all heart, right? All heart. And she is an amazing young athlete. And again, it was just a moment of, she made a rough decision in a moment.
Right? I don't even know what happened, but I know we've all done it before, right? We've all
threw her gun on the ground.
Threw her gun and then kicked it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Move on. No big deal.
Right. Yeah, that's right. But there's like a, Verb posted a thing of her doing it, and there were a lot of comments that were like, she should be thrown out of the league and all this other bullshit.
None of us are perfect. Let's move on. Let's do positive things, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's having a bad day. Somebody's throwing their gun. Don't make it worse, man.
Yeah. My point is just, that's a moment for her, and she's an amazing athlete. If you don't know, don't judge. Just move on.
And if she does it 5 times, then it's an issue, right? But if she does it 1 time, come on. Easy peasy.
Yeah. By the way, I did want to send a shout before we go too much further. I did want to send a shout out to a young lady named Caitlin Eisenhower. She won I think she's 13 years old, and this is her second World Cup. She won World Cup last year in the amateur women's 5v5, and she won the World Cup amateur women this year as well. So I have no doubt that if any of these teams that are listening to us right now in the WNXL might want to keep an eye out for that young lady.
Glad you brought that up. There is a girl who was playing on the Navy team.
Mm-hmm.
Katie something. I had to literally set up a play around her to shoot her.
Right.
Like and she doesn't play in the WNXL. Somebody needs to grab her. She is really good.
There's a bunch of women out there that are just killers, man.
She was on the Navy.
Really good. Yes. She's on Navy.
Let me stand by.
Her and her husband. She's really good. So you guys should talk to her.
I'm trying to pull it up.
Storylines coming out. I think we've touched on a few of these. Heat. Kelly Watson. Thank you. That's it. Kelly Watson.
Yeah, Kelly Watson.
Needs to talk to her. Kelly Watson, not to be confused with Keely.
Yeah, I've got it. It is Kelly Watson. Yep.
Yeah, Kelly Watson.
And she didn't play for the Nevermores at one time?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently she is fire. So.
She is fire. Yeah, agreed. She played really well. Really well. All right, Houston Heat. Let's talk about it.
RIP Houston Heat.
Yeah, that's the rumor. Yeah.
Very sad. Very sad. But honestly, that team we talked about a little bit before, that team was built to win tournaments, right? Mm-hmm. They haven't won a tournament in 4 years. They were all friends, and they were all kind of, having a good time and enjoying themselves. But it seems like at some point they should have kind of reset and started refocusing a little bit, because it's too good a team to go that long without winning events, right? They're just too much talent on that team, and you just can't keep those guys together for that long without winning. And it's sad. It's one of the teams that we kind of talk to at the end of the season, like, hey, I hope these guys do well at Cups so that we don't see them kind of disappear into the night, because it's kind of been like that for the last 4 seasons, and now we're hearing that it might be done, and that's it's sad. The family's given a lot to paintball, helped out paintball a lot, Sarge and those guys, and Mom, and we really appreciate that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's the possibility somebody comes in and buys the spot and keeps the roster
100%, or comes in and does more. Like, that would be amazing. If there's anyone out there that has some disposable income and they wants to pick up a pro spot, there's a couple floating out there right now.
That's right. But I'd imagine that several of their players are being heavily sought after right now. I'm sure there's several.
A couple of those guys could probably retire pretty happily, but a couple of those guys still have the fire in them for sure. And I would definitely look to see some of those guys, slip into those upper echelons teams.
Yeah, I one of my favorite players of all time is Moorhead, and so
me too. Yeah,
I hate it for
fun to watch him play.
Yeah,
same. Ryan's one of my favorite players. Yeah.
Very passionate, very smart, very good. Been around forever, not a jerk off. Just a really nice guy, and those guys are worth weight in gold.
Yeah, they're all pretty humble, right?
Like, there's no douchebags on that whole team. It's one of the best teams to like practice against, hang out with, be a fan, like, because they've had guys come in, they've had guys come out, but they've always been good people. So the top on down, it's just a good organization.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be interesting, because of the 3 Blast Camp guys, if we saw Blast Camp reemerge?
Come back? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
I knew last year at the end of the season, before everything kind of fell apart, they were definitely trying to figure stuff out.
Well, and I talked to Virgil about mid-year, and he was like, I kind of miss.
It's hard when you get away from it, man. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like, he's like, I like being a paintball dad, but I also miss like the guys and the camaraderie. And which we all know, right?
It gets all of us in the end.
So
yeah. When I've been away from paintball, the couple of times I've taken breaks, I don't miss the sport. I miss the people. I miss the community, right?
100%.
Like, I was
best people I've ever met in my life have been through paintball.
Yeah. Alex Sorensen was his very last event, was this World Cup as the marketing director for Major League Paintball. And like, I gave him a big hug, and that's one of the things we talked about. So, it's like, I don't, when it's time for me to go away, like I will miss the competition, but the reality is I'll miss the people.
100%. Yeah. And I really learned that on my career coming up was all competitive, right? Like, it wasn't a joy. It wasn't fun. It wasn't like, hey, let's go hang out.
Right.
But I got to experience that on NYX, and those guys were the funnest guys I've ever hung out with in my life. Like, away from paintball or at paintball, just making each other laugh, being funny, just like unbelievable. And you just come back and you're just like, you're kind of high almost off of like just all the laughing and all the joy you had basically over the weekend. And the paintball was the paintball, but those times were just priceless, man. I really enjoyed that.
Well, I'm lucky because Alex Sorensen's a friend of mine, and he lives in Alabama, so I'll get to see him here. So
nice.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, I try to tell young players, like, hey, the competition, if things don't go well, that doesn't mean that the other moments aren't valuable. 100%. The times in the rental car, the times at the house, the times in the hotel,
all of it.
Times getting ice cream.
Yes.
Rental car places, right?
Whatever.
Sitting in Europe for 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours at a rental car place, just because you're in Europe and that's what you do, man.
And you're American, and they're not trying to help you.
That's right.
Yeah.
So just find a way to enjoy it all. Otherwise, it's not worth it, right? Because only one team wins every event, right? And it's probably not going to be you. So figure out a way to enjoy the process and enjoy it and value spending the time with the guys and doing all that stuff, because next to winning, that's probably the most important thing, if not the most important thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we already talked about NRG. We don't have to do that again. We kind of touched on Tauntaun. So Tauntauns, lose their funding. There's a lot of kind of rumor about potentially what Mark does with the spot, and then what happens to those players, right? They've obviously shown that they can compete here in America.
If there's only an owner of a team in America that needed like almost a whole squad to come in for them and like, you know, work together.
Well, and the hard part too will keep him like Fedorov had, you know, what I would consider to be a standout year.
Yeah,
right?
you know, I thought about that after Cup. He's one of those players where like if he's feeling it and he wants to win and he's like in the mojo, like he's capable of turning it up a notch. And like last 2 or 3 seasons on Heat, he just wasn't doing that. But watching him play this season for the Tauntauns, I'd kind of like just written him off. Now I'm like, oh, Fedorov can still play paintball if he wants to. If you get a few guys like that are that good and get motivated, it's scary.
He has evolved, right? He has evolved. And I said this, I think, a couple of shows ago, but before, Ryan and I used to talk about this all the time. I'm like, why are you not letting Fedorov off the leash? Let Fedorov go do Fedorov things and then game plan with the other 4. What I've seen Fedorov do this season is he's become that leader. He's become that quarterback out on the field a little bit. You're seeing an evolution there where he's taking his game to the next level. It's not just fantastic individual play. He's doing some fantastic team play. And it's great to see.
100%. It's good to see.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with them. Obviously, rumor mill is wild on that one. We won't go down the rabbit hole. Shock, we've already talked about. Right.
We were just talking about Shock.
Yeah, more than likely gonna be Aftershock. More than likely looks like, you know,
rebuild.
Yeah, like knowing Todd, you know, they'll probably look a lot. They've been
talking about it all season long. And unfortunately, in my opinion, they talked about it too early and too often. And I think the team kind of figured out what they were talking about. So I think they just kind of shot themselves in the foot coming into Cup. I was kind of disappointed going into Cup knowing that all the back drama that was going on with the team, because I kind of knew that they were going to underperform.
Yeah. I can. Somebody ask in the chat, is Hosky staying? Yeah, I mean, Hosky's dating Todd's daughter. I can't imagine he's leaving that team. I think he's probably safe.
Yeah,
I think he's probably safe. So, yeah, and then BJ, we talked about AC Diesel, Bent, Clint, BJ both retire from professional paintball kind of right after the last match. The AC finished there at the World Cup. So a lot of shakeup with AC also, like kind of seems like for the last 2 seasons, they've been sort of in disarray. And maybe this is a great opportunity for Mark to, again, build a new house, right? Start with a new foundation.
Yeah.
I feel like pick up some foundation that's already available.
Yeah. I feel like this is the most crazy offseason that we might have, every offseason is crazy, but there's like 5 or 6 teams that are, in really weird positions where they might not be around, or they might be a whole different team, next season.
Yeah.
Agreed. And that's conservative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything else? We forget anybody?
Got it all figured out.
Nope. It's past my bedtime.
Thank you guys so much for having me on again. This was a blast.
We love having you, Rich. We
really don't jump off before the close.
Love having you too. So.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I have a short attention span. I apologize.
That's okay. Stay for the close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us for this marathon episode of the Coaches Show. This was episode 94. This was Mike and I's 2-year anniversary.
Oh, that's sweet.
Show. Yeah.
You get flowers?
Thank you guys. I did not. No.
We're not flower guys.
Yeah, I gave him a high five.
He did.
Pretty good.
Yeah. It was an air high five.
It was kind of cool.
Anyway, so thank you guys for sticking around with us for the last couple of years. Mike and I have absolutely loved doing this with you and for you. And for those of you who kind of stopped me at World Cup, and I'm sure Mike had the same experiences and said thank you. We really appreciate you. Love having Rich Telford joining us for these shows. You've really added a huge element. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you to Max Paintball, BKI, and Tiki's Paintball. I mean, Thunder Valley. Thank you guys so much for fueling the show. Thank you to Major League Paintball Plus, Tom Cole, Kevin Fillers, and Darren Cessna. I think that's it. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Remember to be what?
For Rich Telford, Mike Bianca, I'm Ryan Gray. Be responsible.
Thank you.